Yo, 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 what's up, y'all? Welcome to another week of Taking High Ground Fridays. We are happy to be here. A Donald Mustard interview was a bombshell this week. We have some topic that I didn't even tell Dylan about, but some of the FNCS interviewers was talking about FNCS and the marketing team. That's going to be interesting. We also have a small topic on how do you collect in the growth of the Fortnite hobby without cards currently. We have some verses and we also have some recent pickups. Dylan is in Aruba somewhere, but yeah, we here for sure. What's up, bro? How you doing?
What's going on? I am live from the lobby of a hotel. So
Yes, yes,
if
yes.
you guys
We
hear
get
some
it. We get
crazy
it
people,
done.
it's because there's crazy people walking around here. Um, yes, I'm in the trenches, Richard. What's going on, JL, Richard, JT, Matthew, Brian, Natron, Innkeeper cards? What's going on?
What's
Yeah,
up? What's
lots of
up, y'all?
stuff. That interview was crazy.
Yeah, bro.
I heard, what you told me right before we got on had me like
Yeah.
that was exactly what I was thinking too. It's like I know a lot of people were hating on Donald Mustard and saying
Hmm.
like Donald Mustard was the reason
Hmm.
that a lot of this stuff is like falling apart, and I was always on board of like team Donald Mustard. And so
Yeah.
as soon as I heard this interview and like he told us what his last thing he touched was, which
Yeah.
was Paradise, I had to find out if he had anything to do with the Herald and like like the silver slime and the
Hmm.
way that video ended because that was like not thought through at all, and happy to hear that was not Donald Mustard.
Yeah. Yeah. That
So
was
how do you feel about it?
we talked lightly before this, but definitely more pessimistic than optimistic of the direction of the I'm not pessimistic on the direction of Fortnite as a whole. I think that they're going to be successful in multiple different ways. Storyline wise, completely pessimistic for sure. I'm not saying that Win can't do it. I'm not saying because we obviously see his resume, he can. Uh,
Well, those seasons were before Win, right?
right, right, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
obviously that was like a transition period trying to find somebody. So I'm not blaming him, but
right,
I'm also saying we can't blame Donald Mustard
yeah.
for those seasons and that storyline.
Yeah, and to 100%. And where I'm going is more so to your point that in between was weird because there was a transition. The thing that worries me is as we know, when you get hired, you know the direction the company wants to go in, and then they want to hear the direction. Can you bring this forward pretty much?
Mhm.
We talked about that already, even when it first happened. So that's what worries me. I It's definitely gloomy in my head, in my opinion, I should say. But that's
So
just the way I feel.
I hope that Donald Mustard is not the only one at Epic Games who sees like Fortnite at as its own IP.
Hmm.
And, like, if everyone else just think it's a marketing platform to push other people's IPs out there
Hmm.
without, like, attaching their own to it, that's gonna suck, right?
Yeah,
At least for us, people who actually love Fortnite in the
yeah,
long run. If it just becomes like a marketing machine, that will really suck, and I hope they don't do that, but
yeah,
like I said, it doesn't look great, so I'm like for me, Fortnite OG is anything Donald Mustard era
yeah,
going
yeah.
forward.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's
just how I feel.
yeah, Donald Mustard era is definitely tagged for sure, even in cards. And the thing is, to what JT is getting at, even if he clearly said that he rushed and kind of cramped. They used crammed. I don't know if he used that word, that's the way that came out. But even if he did use the word crammed, um, I don't blame him. I'm sorry. I'm a creative, and I know leaving things on the table like that, the vision that you had for the game and the direction,
Mhm.
I don't blame him for doing his farewell tour,
Well,
especially if it was a
didn't he try to jam everything into the, relax what was that,
just
season?
yeah, the vibing season into that
Vibin
season.
season. So
Yeah,
not chapter
yeah,
4 because that ended
right.
yeah, so chapter 4 was after he
Mhm.
had already done all his stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Unless I misunderstood the interview.
No, that's the way I got it as well. And even but to JT's point, like I don't blame him for that. I really don't. I mean, you've worked on the inception, you had the direction, you know, you had the idea from taking what was Fortnite Save the World into Fortnite Battle Royale with using the building mechanisms. I don't blame him for that. I think you get off what you intended to, even if it comes at the demise of some situations of the way it flows. I don't blame him.
Yeah. I mean, so looking at that, so there's 2 things. So the interview made me think about Donald Mustard and everything like Donald Mustard related, and I
Mhm,
kinda put it all on a pedestal.
mhm.
Um, besides that, if you guys don't know, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this up here.
Yes.
I have, redeveloped the Series 2 checklist.
We in there.
Um, so now you can start like, you can just type in here if you wanna see if Aura's in this list, there she is. If you want, like, Red Jade. So I've made the checklist very dynamic.
Mhm,
And the other thing that you can do, and you have to be signed in, even for like the search function. I'm gonna make the search function work without being signed in, but right now you have to be signed in for most of these to work. If you want to add it to your collection, you can hit the plus, come here, and put all your stuff in here. And then if you go to view your collection, it is all working now, so you guys can see what things I've added. And so if you put your purchase price, that's gonna be the starting value, and you can modify it from here if you need to. Um, so when I was going through this checklist, for series 2, I'll go back to series 2 here to tie it all in together. I had to redo every single card to get it into
mhm,
the system so it's dynamic, and I started to notice, like, characters that have the word "the" as the character name. Now I know
mhm.
a lot of people are gonna make fun of me because look who shows up, it's the Autumn Queen. Alright? So I'm not trying to, like, hide her away, but she does pop up. The interesting thing, besides the Ice Queen, which I think is just like a tack on to the Ice King, and if you look at Series 1 too, all the way across the board, if you look at all these skins that start with V, they're all pretty important.
Mhm,
Um, and I asked you this, I pointed this out to you, and at first I started to think about the Ice King and the table of all the chairs.
mhm,
But like if you look, there's other characters that aren't cards yet, like the Cube Queen, the Herald, and they're all characters that make a major impact on the game in some way.
mhm,
And so I think, and this is me thinking, that these are like figures from specific universes, like the ones they brought in. Like the brat is from the food one, like that's
mhm,
the main one. The Ice King is from wherever he's from. So the Autumn Queen is from another universe. The Prisoner is from a different one. So like the seven, I think they're all from different universes, like the
mhm.
Foundation, the Paradigm. So and they all pop up. So I want to hear what you think. But I feel like that's not. Feel like that's intentional. Like
Mhm.
this could have easily been Paradigm
Right.
or Prisoner
Right.
or Ice King,
Mhm.
but they put the word "the" into the character's name,
Hmm.
and I feel like that has some form of importance in some way. And I haven't heard this theory anywhere else, so I wanted to bring it to you guys to see what y'all think.
Very interesting, and I'll just help the wording for you right there. Used to have meaning. But
Yeah,
no.
so
Yeah.
that's true. That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
the Don Mercer thing, it could be huge, but
Mhm.
obviously the guy who thought of it is no longer there.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean that his notes and his storylines for whatever he planned for all these characters doesn't
Mhm.
still come. It's not like they don't have those notes.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like Donald
Yeah.
Mercer didn't leave them all the stuff that he came
Yeah.
up with. And you're right. As much as I destroy Autumn Queen, I still stand by the fact that she's not popular right now. But I'm
Right.
not taking away the fact that she something could happen in the future.
Mhm. No, that's
So
and but that was a great insight. I'd never put it together that way. Like I always the first reason when you first asked me, the way I knew was when I used to search Ice King cards up. I used to just type in Ice King. And I used to get so frustrated. I'm like, okay, it's the Ice King. And then
it's the
little things,
thing.
yeah, yeah. So things like that. And so when you brought that up, I thought that was interesting. And even to your point with the brat, if you I think it was in the comic book, right? When they showed the food world, I think he was one of
Yeah.
the ones shown in there. I can't remember for sure, but I think he was one of the ones, and I think it was like the chili pepper skin that hasn't came out yet was featured in there. But either way, yeah, that is a world, and so that is
And
interesting.
people might think, "Oh, well, it should be Peely." But no, Peely wasn't from another world. It was created
Hmm.
because of the, rift. So the
Right.
banana and, like, the whole Jonesy thing, that it created Peely. Peely's not from another world, he was created,
Yeah.
if that lore is correct.
Well, yeah, right. And first of all, shout out to Mac making it. Appreciate you, Daniel. I think JL got in here by the time we started. Lane, what's up? What's up? Mike. But yeah, to your point on that too, is like Pilly also got a nice little nod in the article as well. He was talking about how the idea came from pretty much Mustard Plays not liking bananas, which is his brother.
Yeah.
And you know,
I like
also
hearing all those.
yeah,
Those
yeah,
are
that
so
was.
cool.
And I think to the thing is, I think now that he got the what we would consider the marketing interview out, right? So you when you're that big of a name, you kind of got to have your transition interview before you have the smaller ones. I think we'll probably get an interview with Mustard Plays, which is his brother, sooner than later. Now that he did the major one, I think that's going to be the interview. I think that's going to be the one. He's already said that he wanted to do one with Donald Mustard again. You know, we know the original one where he was talking about stuff that was 5 years ahead. So hopefully he does that. What do you think he has up his sleeve when he comes to his you know, he kind of dabbled in what the next thing was going to be without telling too much. What do you think it's going to be?
You know about Donald Mustard?
Yeah.
So the interesting thing is that he said he was done with video games.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that was the interesting thing. So obviously it's movies, and I have no idea what those movies are gonna be. I would just look at the Russo brothers and see like what do they have their hands on.
Yeah.
Donald Mustard's probably gonna have his hands in those.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know too much what he's gonna work on. And as far as me, I'm more interested in like Epic Games versus I like Donald Mustard with Fortnite,
Yeah. Mhm.
but I'm probably gonna stick to that. To answer JL's earlier question, do I think it's just gonna be like an ad thing for Fortnite? I don't think so. I think with Legos, when they were pushing out those characters, you're learning more about them. I don't think they're gonna go that strong, but it is something that I'm a little worried about. But I'm not thinking that I don't think that's best for them. But I just don't know what they're thinking. Because when I remember listening to the interview, some of the things that Don Mustard did,
Mhm.
he said that he got pushback. And all the
Yeah.
things he mentioned are things that I loved.
Mhm.
So, like, for instance, if you guys didn't watch the interview, he talked about, y'all remember the black hole.
Mhm.
So he was like, he told the marketing team, he said, I'm going to take Fortnite offline for a month.
Mhm.
And they all freaked out. They said, no, no, no. And he says, by the time they got me down, they got it down to like 3 or 4 days or whatever. And that's actually what I originally wanted. But I
Yeah.
started at a month so that I could get them to those 3 to 4 days. And I thought that was genius.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yeah.
genius. And
Yeah.
there's a
That.
couple other things that they didn't like that they weren't gonna do that have been huge.
Mhm.
So,
Eh,
he's also the reason for Marvel. He's the
uh,
reason for DC.
John
Like, he
Wick.
went on the road and talked in John Wick,
He's
with
Jonesy, bro.
He sat with Keanu Reeves,
Yeah.
right, and talked to him, and Keanu Reeves gave him the green light, and he made it happen. So all
Mhm.
these things happen because of Donald Mustard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's gonna be interesting because I think the hardest part about it is that we do know we had a visionary, and I'm not saying Charlie Wynn isn't a visionary. We've seen what he's done as well. Um, but the
Wait, wait, wait. Um, JL said he wanted Peely to rot within 20 minutes. This did they take this out?
it that okay, it's not just me. That did happen, right? That was a
No,
thing.
so I'm gonna tell you guys now, as a person who's played it since it came out,
It
I
was a
have
thing.
Peely. I don't play with Peely, but
Yeah.
when Peely came out that season, I
Yep.
played with him, and he did rot by the end of the
I think it
game.
was patched. I haven't used Pilly since then, but I think it was patched. I'm not
So
sure.
when they said that that's what he wanted, and they said no or whatever, or they took it out, it worked for me.
Yeah.
I wore it, and I thought it was the coolest thing.
Mhm. Because that's when we were starting to get so if y'all don't remember, that's when so what I liked about Deadfire is Deadfire was a transition one too. When you started off without all the lights and all the smoke and everything. And as you progressed, you turned purple and green. So that started happening. So by the time it got to season 8 with Pilly, uh definitely when you put that on, it started off regular and it rotted
Yeah.
by the time you got to the end of the game. But I don't know
So
if it was patched or not. So because I didn't use
I'm
them too
gonna have
many times.
I'm gonna have to put on Peely and play a game.
Yeah,
And but when I heard that, I was like, "Wait, is that not a thing anymore?"
yeah. Yo, I really do agree with JT on this, but before we get to that, appreciate it, Richard. Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones as well. Uh, and then Richard was saying, wait, they changed that. So he experienced it as well. I'm almost positive. I think three of us experiencing it. I think it was a thing.
Patty says he rots right now.
So maybe the
And
wording was weird with the way they put it in the article.
yeah, obviously whoever wrote the article must have misheard,
Yeah.
and they didn't play the game.
I think it was, to your point, I think what it was is that they didn't want it to happen and made it
He
happen.
made it happen.
Yeah, because
Alright, so it must be an error in the interview. Breaking news here, we found the error, we should comment. We should make
Yeah,
that comment because I was taken back, I was like, "Wait, that's still a thing."
yeah.
Not that I play with Peely anymore, so I wasn't sure, I was like, "They must have got rid of it."
So
Um,
to JT's point right here, he said Epic Games seems to have bigger problems than the storyline nowadays. Storyline had been pretty solid this season. Yeah, I don't know what JT is getting at, but I'm gonna say for me, I was also talking to Mac Darwin this week as well, but I would say for me, it's a mark. What is going on with the marketing team, bro? Something's off. Like legit, and
mhm,
we're not talking about just cards. I'm gonna tie this into what I brought up before. I was watching 11 2Ks, which is a Fortnite broadcaster, right? And they were going over why it was a drop in competitive and comp interest this season, like actually playing to compete, right? And they were tying it back to the World Cup, but now they work for Epic Games and Fortnite, and so for to hear them say that it's something off with the marketing, we're not just it's not just us. Where we talk about cards a lot in the comics, but it's something going on with the marketing. I don't know who's the head of that, but it's something off, and I don't know what it is, man.
it's gotta be, Tim Sweeney saying, like, everyone's on the chopping block and, like, maybe that he
Mhm.
doesn't seem some of these, like, non-game things to be,
Yeah.
like, actual programming, actual, like, revenue things to be
Mhm.
important, and I hope that's not the case, but, like, the Donald Mustard interview, clearly, the marketing team was always fighting,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything they were fighting against was
Yeah.
a major improvement for Fortnite.
Mhm.
So, without somebody like, is Charlie Wynn gonna fight like Donald Mustard fought?
That's 100%.
I
Yep.
mean, Donald Mustard could throw his weight around, like, he
Mhm.
helped launch the game, he helped
Mhm.
create it, so, he had a lot more, like, power besides just his title, I feel like.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, the way you said it was perfect. And to tie what, Mac and JT is saying here, we talked about and watched the interview when he did it with Cypher PK and Ali A. Tim Sweeney is like, listen, who's bringing the numbers? What does that look like? What at the end of each quarter, what does these numbers look like? And obviously I'm paraphrasing for him, but he it's I'm not saying it's just about the money because he does have passion for certain things, but I think more than anything, it's about this is the direction we want to go. How do we get there? Everything else in between doesn't matter. And that's just what it feels like. I'm not saying that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm a little worried on that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we still have to I mean, obviously, we're pretty certain cards are coming out with tops, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think we're fine on that, but, like, if everything else is kinda crashing, that makes me a little worried. Am I worried about the cards? Me personally, no, because I like to collect them, and I'm always gonna love the OG
Mm-hmm.
Fortnite,
Yeah.
and I still think in the future they can always come up with I mean, they're coming out with movies of Sonic. They're coming
Yeah.
out with movies of games that have way less impact on people than Fortnite has had in the last
Mm-hmm.
5 years. So even if they don't generate the story now, they can generate that story in the future. Right? So I'm not too worried about that. It's just it'll suck as content creators and as people who love the game, to see some of that stuff die.
I like the way you said that because it seems as though, to your point, all it takes is either a reset on them. Let's what JT is talking about, marketing, item shop, locker, things like that. But all it takes is a reset, or on the other side, you know, a a purge, in a
Yeah.
big reset, So, but that's if they want it. But to your point, that can happen at any given time. The thing is us as content creators, us as collectors of multiple different things, whether it's Fortnite cards, comics, action figures, fringe, like JT, whatever it is, uh to be as honest as possible, the way I'll say it is, do you have the will for impact if it's a crash? And I'm not talking about a crash as in a market. I'm just talking about, we started THG in the dead, what we thought was the most dead time, right? but there could be another one coming up, and it's like, do you have collecting goals that kind of ascends past new product? And that's the
Mhm.
question I think I have. Like, do do people have goals past what's of if there's only what's now available? And that's
So
interesting.
there's a lot of discussion I want to get on with like the whole like I have some other conversations with people. I'll get into that in a
It's
second.
been
Um, but Patty's card said that Piano's Dom gets too much love. I don't think so. His story didn't make sense. His story like captivated everybody. That's what
Mhm,
Fortnite is. His story was different. It was new. It was about the island. The island was the main character. You know what I
mhm,
mean? Like, he created so much interest and stuff, and yeah, it started to, like, kind of fall apart a little bit along the way, but, like, what he did was perfect. He gets enough love. I mean, no one in the last decade has created what he created.
yeah,
No one. No one's created anything that has held up like Fortnite has held up in the
mhm,
last 5 to 7 years. So
and
I don't think he gets enough recognition in my opinion. Yeah,
yeah,
of course, the story's falling apart, but name anybody whose story doesn't fall apart.
that's a
Like,
very good one.
name anyone, and it's like the stories, especially video game wise,
Mhm.
yeah, no, I think he deserves all the love he gets.
And I'm pretty sure somebody can name something to pick apart that point, but that's a solid point. And to go on to the Patty aspect again a little bit more, Patty, this is what I believe. I'm not saying that this is true, but from us talking from the storyline for over 2 years now, this is what I feel Donald Mustard was doing. So if you think about all the Marvel factions, right? He was building the factions. He was building the factions slowly because everybody kind of had to fall in love with pieces of the faction. Now, I do feel like um a gripe I did have is that we didn't get enough time with certain factions and things like that, but we don't know what was going on behind closed doors clearly. But he was building the factions to
And
yeah,
also,
go ahead.
besides that fact is like you were saying with the factions, he has to build it while maintaining it with a video game that changes. Like,
Mhm.
Fortnite would not be successful if they didn't update as often as they did, but
Yep.
that also makes it harder to build the story with how quickly the map has to update for the gamers and to
Mhm.
tie the story. I don't think there is a perfect solution to it.
Right.
I think they did the best that anybody could have. No one's
Yeah.
even tried that. Look at Animal Crossing, okay? If you guys played Animal Crossing, they promised monthly updates or all these updates to their game after release.
Mhm.
After the first year of the game coming out, no more updates.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
stopped, but they had promised all these things for Animal Crossing, and it
Mhm.
just stopped. It's not an easy feat, so
Yeah.
I don't wanna, like, take too much away from that.
And I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna just keep this up here. It's gonna so this was Retrozo. I'll tag his name in there again. I cropped this a little bit too much. But long story short, he was talking about what me and Dylan been talking about for a while, where it's like the storyline should have been separated from the game a while ago. Like, and I think that's something that maybe Donald Mustard wanted that he couldn't get. Now, if for context, yeah, he is he is one of the main storyline. He dives deep into the storyline. He breaks it down. He's been right about a lot of different things before they happen. So he loves the storyline, and that's kind of what his content is based around. But he was talking about what me and Dylan have been talking about for a while. It's just like I get that it helps people to find things in game and to find the story, but s- Fortnite has so much potential on the story side. Not saying that it still doesn't, that it could have been separated so long ago through the comics and even just through a separation of cutscenes. Like you were talking about the Netflix style
Yeah,
of things like that. Those things could have happened so long ago. And I don't know if that's something Donald Mustard was fighting for as well. But I do think that's where, to your point, that's where it got rough because you got to tell the story through the game and you can't do an extra cutscene because your template for going to season is cutscene, then you go into the new season, it's a cutscene, and then it's gameplay cutscene. That's it. And that's what their
and
formula was, and you can't do nothing with that.
why can't like, so, like, Marvel has its own movies, does its own things, and then they do a tie-in to the game. Why can't
Mhm.
they do that for themselves,
Right.
right? So I agree with that, and I think maybe we can still see that, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully, that still comes up. It's like they did change it from skins to characters. They
Yes.
made
Which is
that
major.
change.
Major. Mhm.
So they made the point to say these are not skins, these are actual characters. And they use Peely in marketing, they use all these characters in marketing. So they have to know that people see them as beloved characters,
Yeah.
unless they're
Yeah.
just crazy. I mean, who doesn't want to create like like characters and have those live forever, like Mickey Mouse and things like that?
Mhm.
That's how you truly win. Like
Yeah.
they have to know that eventually the game itself may die, but the IP won't.
Mhm.
So they have to see that. You would
And
think.
I'm glad you said that as well because that's kind of the weird point that I had today is what if the game is dying? Not numbers wise, but trajectory of, if the storyline doesn't do this and it doesn't do that, the numbers will be there. But let's say, when I say what if the game is dying, I'm not talking about numbers. I'm talking about the way we view the game. The only thing that
Hmm.
happens from that is nostalgia kicks in. It's already been kicking in, but I think us as collectors, I think sometimes it worries us a little bit too much, because I was just watching a documentary on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? And how it was at its height, and then it kind of died. And it didn't die to the fans, it died to the mass communities, right? It died to the mass eye appeal. And that could happen eventually. But as collectors, that really doesn't affect us as long as everything is not, and I'm gonna be honest, as long as everything's not on just the investment side. And
Yeah.
and I
So on your point, like I read a thing on nostalgia, like
Mhm.
a study, and I believe it was like anything that can. I'm trying to remember. It was either like a year or 2 years, right?
Mhm.
Anything that can stay popular for that long will
Yeah.
have nostalgia and stuff like that built in as long as it stays popular. And Fortnite has been popular for five,
Yeah.
7 years.
Mhm.
So like, it's been crazy popular. So the nostalgia is already set in. The game could die tomorrow.
Yep.
It doesn't have to prove itself anymore.
Mhm.
The more it keeps going though, like the compounding effect will definitely grow because
Right.
you're touching 7 years of generations, like 7 years of people,
Mhm.
right? Versus just like 2 years,
Yeah.
right? So it's like Fortnite has its touched many, many different age groups, but so the more it goes, the more it compounds, but we already hit that. So like if
Yeah.
you're a collector for the long term, like there'll be stuff to collect for many, 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 many years, in my
And
opinion.
yeah, and I like that. And I think the weird thing is this is that for us as collectors of Fortnite, we're collecting something that's never been done, to your point. And what I mean by that is these age groups that we have, that we've all experienced it at the same time. When you started playing
Mhm.
Fortnite, we were approaching our mid 20s. You know what I mean? We were approaching
Yeah,
we were
that's
approaching
true.
it. So it's like, okay, we were mid 20s, then you have the teenagers, then you have the actual younger kids, the ones that probably shouldn't have been playing the game.
And you got
It
now you so like
yeah.
even now you have 9 to 11-year-olds playing, and
Yeah.
then you've got like 25 to 35-year-olds playing,
Mhm.
and even higher than that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Sticker Picker saying it's like a decade of nostalgia
Mhm.
already packed in.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm always gonna collect it just because like I wasn't playing video games and then I played it and I fell in love with Fortnite. So
Yeah.
it's really the only game I play, and I love the IP and I'm always gonna collect it.
Mhm.
Will I be interested to collect some of the newer skins?
Mhm.
Probably not, right? So
Yeah.
like us being here extremely early, like if you found out about Fortnite cards today, I know everyone's gonna come in here and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so late." I don't think anybody's late, and I think like
Mm-mm.
if you're coming in now, this is your second chance to be early,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And this
Yeah.
is not investment advice. It's just like as a
Mhm.
collector to get the items that you want to get. We've talked about like how rare this stuff is all the time. Now, I was talking to somebody and who was, and I hate to bring this up again, but we're talking about like the prototypes. And
Mhm.
I know there's a lot of prototype talk out there,
Mhm.
and some people are worried that like, oh, everyone's spending their money on prototypes. Their focus should be on these shards. And my answer is like people should collect whatever they want to collect. The
Yep.
market will dictate it, right? So I don't think anything should be this or should be that. I like the DKV cards. I'm not saying that
Mhm.
that should be the focus or the
Mhm.
Magic the Gathering ones, the secret layer ones. It's whatever the market decides it likes at the time, but there's no rush. Like a
Mm-mm.
lot of this stuff is super rare, like the shards are super rare. Um, and then there's a whole Facebook post on I forget who said it, but they were talking about you remember what you
Kim.
saying that you were talking about?
Kim? Yeah, Kim.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kim. You want
Yeah.
to say what
Yeah.
they were talking about?
So pretty much what they were talking about is, and I'm not gonna give their actual post because I don't know if they want that. So I'll just paraphrase it, but I don't want to take anything out of context. But where is it at? Right here. So he pretty much was getting at the growth of Fortnite cards and the potential of it if a lot of the top tier collectors and the early adopters have the mega cards, and let's just call it, let's say they have 3 to 5 of a specific card, right? And his worry is, does that deter new collectors and the opportunities that new collectors are going to have some of these cards? And I'll let you start it off, but it's an interesting topic because I think sometimes people get kind of foggy minded of exactly how it is to collect and how it is to kind of build your collection. But go ahead, bro.
Sure. So for me, and I'll talk from my experience, is like there being cards that I'll never have has never deterred me from starting to collect.
Hmm.
Like I got into a hobby when I got into basketball cards, right? I wanted to collect basketball cards. I was looking at cards that I could afford,
Hmm.
right? So I looked up Allen Iverson. I found like what's the expensive ones. I said, which one are the coolest ones that I could afford? And
Right.
that's what people are gonna do. Is like people don't collect basketball cards because they can't afford a Michael Jordan.
Hmm.
Right? So it's like if the nostalgia interests you enough to buy the packs, that's why like modern cards sell for so much, right? Because people want to rip, they want to get something that's new that they experience,
Yeah.
right? Because it hits them nostalgia. It's right now they recognize those players. Like newer kids much rather have like a Wimby card,
Yep.
right, than like an Allen Iverson per se, right? If they're like 12,
Yeah.
it's because that's what's nostalgic to them already right now. That's what's important to them. So collecting isn't gonna work where like, oh, the biggest stuff's already taken, so there's no point. That might be in for like an investor mindset, that might be who you're talking about, but not for the mass collector. I think
Hmm.
that's just gonna entice it, and they see, "Hey, where what can I get and what should I start collecting?" Because we have Italy, we have Brazil, we have USA for Series 1. So if you can't afford the USA Series 1, you can go down to Brazil, and that's what's great about it. Yeah, and if you
Hmm.
can't afford those, you go to the Holos. And then if you can't afford those, you go to the Legendary and the Epic cards because those are also rare.
Hmm.
So Series 1 has a lot of rare cards in it. Now USA saying people should get rid of their USA Series 1 shards so that people come into the hobby, I just think isn't realistic, right?
No.
It's
Mm-mm.
like, no, that you wanna praise the people who are bold enough to go out there and spend money before it's established.
Yep.
And I wouldn't even say our hobby's established yet, right? So, like, there's people spending lots of money on these shards and, like, stacking up on them, they should be praised for being, like, so brave enough to be able to do that and hold up the hobby and hold these prices up.
Yeah. No, that's perfectly put. I think y'all know I've said this before. You cannot be mad at early adopters. You can't be mad at somebody that caught it first, that was there when the things were available because
And real
yeah, go
quick,
ahead.
we're not saying Kim's mad.
Yeah,
Kim put this out because I messaged or we were talking, and they were just like putting out an idea there for discussion.
thank you.
So shout
Yes.
out to
Yeah.
Kim. This is all
Yeah.
just to generate discussion. He wasn't saying his point of view was one way or the other. He was just seeing what the community thought. I just want to.
I'm glad you said that because like Dylan said, I got messages after and some of those people could have been mad. So let me put that in context. I'm glad I'm glad that you said
Hmm.
that. But yeah, so if you're one of those people, I should say, you can't be mad if early adopters got in there first because the thing is, truthfully, if you come in today and let's say over the next matter of fact, let's use our boy Richard, right? Richard comes in at I believe the beginning of series 3, in between there, right?
Hmm.
The time that he spent understanding exactly what he wanted to do to get series 1 crystal shards that when I came in was absolutely impossible to get. They didn't exist. We've talked about that. Those, even his recent pickup Rust Lord, you just didn't see crystal shards at that time, right? But when he comes in, the market has came down and those things were readily available. Somebody's going to say the same thing about Richard, but he came in 3 years later. You know what I mean? Two
Yeah.
and a half, 3 years later. So, but the person that comes in a year from now or 2 years from now, they're gonna be like, but the opportunities that Richard have is like, no, it's just the time frame that you come in. You have to have, you do. I'm not saying you have to have a Rob strategy. You can have a Dylan strategy, or you can have something in between where it's like the cars that you want, and you do have to focus on that. I'm gonna say one more thing on this. When I came into the hobby, I wanted a Lux Crystal Shard. And I've been very clear that when I did that, Everything I brought until I got that card did not matter. I'm gonna just be honest. I didn't care what card it was. Everything was free game until I got that card. After I got Lux, that's when collecting kind of changed for me because the world opened up and I had the card and things like that. So you do have to have a mission, and if you do have a grail, long as it's not Black Knight or Pilly, because God bless you. But yeah,
Yeah.
but if it's any other card in there, it's obtainable. But like Dylan said, Crystal Shard, Cracked Ice, Hollow, Optichrome, it's opportunities even base in there to get to where you need to.
So I want to get to what Warfighter, and I might not be saying the same thing Warfighter is saying in
Yeah.
terms of like market manipulation can be so many different ways.
Hmm.
But people will be messaging me and they'll think this, or people shouldn't be doing this, or hey, you shouldn't sell your cards so short, or like, cause like when when I
Yeah,
sell
yeah.
cards, like it's when I need that cash today, so I'll sell them under, right? I'll sell them
Yep.
for what'll get them off the shelf right now. Um, and like I've got messages like, hey, why are you selling stuff so cheap? You shouldn't. You're gonna make the price go down. And here's my stance on it: is for this hobby to survive, you cannot manipulate the market. Like, that's just
Yeah.
too hard to do, guys, and I
Yeah.
don't want that. Like, you want the people will try to buy a card, and then when it's not there, and when it finally pops up, most people are gonna stab at it and then grab it, and the price will go up. The market will correct itself.
Yeah.
There are people in our hobby who are trying to manipulate it and try to make prices a certain way.
Yep.
And I'm not down with that, so if anybody's wondering, is I let the market do whatever. I have my own opinions of it, and my opinions could be wrong. The
Hmm.
market could be, like, a lot less than I think it is, but I know what I want for a card and what I'm willing to pay for a card,
Hmm.
but that's it. And so all those people out there who are trying to, like, protect the value or say, "Hey, let's do this so that the market don't
Hmm.
say this because the market's gonna do X, Y, or Z." It's like, no, you have
Hmm.
to let people talk.
Yep.
People are gonna say what they think, and the market's gonna react. I believe in Fortnite cards. I believe in hobby. I think it's gonna go. We're gonna make sure it keeps going up and bringing people in,
Hmm.
and we're gonna do that by providing information, by making collecting easy, and like putting all the information as we can out there. That's our
Yeah.
goal.
Hmm.
Not to manipulate the market. That's why, like, whenever we talk about cards, I try to show you how many I have
Yep.
and things like that.
Yep.
And so that's also why, like, when I'm building this, like, I'm gonna be showing you guys my collection. Like right now, I'm not even home, so I'm doing this from memory.
Hmm.
But like I'll be talking about my collection from here, so I can see a view of exactly what I have. Like I
Yeah.
was telling Rob, um, I got rid of my Aura Optichrome PSA 10. And I thought I had an extra one. Now I won't be able to do that. So like I'm
Yeah.
building this so I can show you guys exactly like how many I have or something. Um, so that's one of the examples that we're doing. But market manipulation is kind of out there in a way of like people are trying to like, hey, don't talk about this, don't sell it too cheap. That is out there. But like
Yeah.
as long as you're only paying for what you would pay for it, then you're
Hmm.
good, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean that's a good point. Because like even like now, right? So uh, this is another thing. One thing I can say from my personal experience, and I'm glad that we're talking about the experience of collecting Fortnite cards. From my personal experience, the reason why I always say unless something falls in my lap is because things literally have consistently fell in my lap throughout time. It'll be just, collectors in the hobby, and I'll just be minding my business, focusing on other things, and then the opportunity of the next card that I want pops up, right? For me,
Mhm.
you know how I go. I go look at that bottom. I love a lot of my cards, but sometimes I'll use an example. When me and Black Ash traded during the national last year, right? To make the value work, I took on some cards that I technically didn't want, but I liked, right? Those are the first cards that's gonna go if a trade comes up. It's because the card that I wanted is Drift, right?
Mhm.
And the other cards, the three cards that make the value work between me and Black Ash, was just to make the value work. I liked them, but they weren't the main cards. So when you do trades and things like that, you end up accumulating cards that gives you other opportunities. And that's why I do champion trading sometimes, because sometimes you add cards in there that you understand somebody else wants or you may not like, or you may like them but you don't love them, or they're not a part of your main PC, and then it gives other opportunities. And that's what I'm going through right now. I've done multiple trades over the past couple weeks, and my collection is going to look a lot different by the time we get to national, just based off of trades and nothing else.
And I'm still trying to get my feet wet with trade. I'm always doing too much, and like I'll start a trade conversation and then I'll forget.
Hmm.
Um, But yeah, I think trades is an interesting thing. I like
Mhm,
trades. I like where and so, like, if you guys are testing the app for me,
mhm,
like I said, I need people coming in here and testing this and letting me know the bugs and stuff. But, like, one of the things that Rob has been pioneering is, like, he wants me to build out a trade function.
mhm,
So, basically, when you have your collection here and, like, I've experienced this because I was working with someone who I said, "Well, what do you have for trade?" And then it go back and forth, go back and forth. So
yeah,
now that we have this built, I wanna also build it like a trade platform where, like no, you won't be able to trade, like, online, but you can send someone a link and they can see all the cards you have available for trade. So
mhm,
instead of you, like, guessing, they can say, "Oh, well, can I see what your rocks, tag team looks like?"
mhm,
Um, and so you can do that, you just send them your trade list, and you can quickly do it from here. Not yet, but that's a feature that we're planning, and I think it's a good idea. I don't trade as much, but the way Rob described it, it's like, "Okay, I think that makes sense. I think people
mhm,
would like that."
yeah,
So I am a big fan of, like, the whole trade thing, I think. I think it's been kinda
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, for sure. And like that, so all of those things, like the market manipulation, and I think having a trading, not trading, a collecting journey, because it's a journey. This is the honest truth. People that may not have their grill. Remember when I did the post on our community tab. I said who has their grill. Back then the number was very low. Probably should do it again, but the number was very low. If you don't have your grill yet, you might not get it for another, let's say 2, 3 years. But
Well, it's Fortnite's very different in that, like, there's no numbered cards, right?
yeah,
But there's some shards that just don't pop up.
don't
And
pop up.
lasers too, they just don't pop up. And so,
Mhm.
like you're saying, when we say market manipulation, if you're getting in late, we're not talking about like eBay and like
No.
people like pumping stuff, right? We're talking about people caring what other people are selling it for and people trying to voice, hey, don't do this, don't do that. Like for me personally, like I have an aura. Um, there was a raw one that was on eBay,
Mhm.
and I thought it was gonna go for like 600 because I seen somebody who's buying them from people around that price,
Yeah.
and it went for over 800 raw. And I was
Yeah.
like, shit, no, don't go up, right? Because I want to get it at a lower price eventually.
Mhm.
So like even for me, like, yeah, I might value Aura higher, and you guys
Mhm.
know that, but like if it goes down, I'm fine because I have mine and I'll just buy more because I'm a
Right.
collector,
Mhm.
right? And so that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if that's helpful. It's just like,
No, it is.
yeah, you just guys just gotta like I feel like everyone just has to chill and like if you're happy with the price that you bought the card at, then you're groovy. I don't look at like people say, "Hey Dylan, what's Aura blank going for?"
I have no idea.
I don't have no
Yeah.
idea right now. I haven't been
Mhm.
looking, you know what I mean? So if it's a card I'm looking for, I might be able to tell you what I've been looking to pay.
Yeah.
But like if I bought a card and I'm not looking I'm not following the price to make sure it's like goes up and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like I'm happy that I finally have the card. Now if it's time for me to go sell it, I'm gonna do that research.
Yeah.
But when I'm not looking to sell it or buy it, it's like I'm not following it.
Yeah. Like that. I think that's a good point because is to your point, it's that's the risk of, so let's say you would have sold your Aura 10, right? Or let's say you would have traded away, whatever you want to go with.
Mhm.
You when you do these things, so if you are on the trade or selling side, right? Like we know you got collectors like Jo and Richard and things like that that don't sell. But if you are on the sell or trade side, you have to understand the cars that you let go, you better make sure you can get them back. Because
Yeah, that's
because
for sure.
and sometimes you can get past things. And I'll be honest, like there's cards that I've traded away that I might not get back that I don't really care anymore. I had the card, I experienced it. It wasn't my grail card, but that's not always the case. Sometimes you really want that card back, and you just better make sure you can get it back because the way this hobby goes, I always say this and I say it in a joking way sometimes. I know I'm probably not going to win an auction on Crystal Shard high tier, right? If I'm
Yeah,
going, let's just use one that I still don't have for full transparency. If Skull Trooper pops up in a PSA 9, I'm not gonna cap. I know I'm gonna lose that. Like
yeah,
it's just the way it is right now. So if I did have that card in my collection and I sold it, I have to understand now that more than likely it may take some time or I'm not getting that card back. So those is all the things you have to think about depending on what side you fall on collecting.
no, I like that thought because for me, like if I got rid of my last Aura, when I saw it go, the raw one go up to 800, I was like, oh shit, getting
Yeah,
back to
yeah.
like 1,000 raw. Like I don't know, it's gonna be a lot harder. Now I'm happy I got Gold Trooper. Like, the fact
Yep.
that I got that, like, I was just like, I told you I wanted that, and I just waited and waited and waited and waited. Finally got it, so I'm so happy I got that. Never sign
Yeah.
on that until I get another one. Same thing with the
Yeah.
Aura Shard. Unless,
Yeah.
like, something like life happens,
Hmm.
anything's up for sale, right, if
Yeah.
life happens. But, like, those 2 are, like, I'm keeping close. I'm never going down from a 3rd Hush.
Yeah.
Hush has gone up in popularity in the card market. People
Hmm.
have been trying to get her, and it's like, I'm glad I have a Hush.
Hmm.
Um but yeah, that's something for sure. I like this question by JL, I think. Where'd it go? JL, basically he said, oh, right here. Do y'all think FOMO is helpful or not? How do you feel about that?
Want me to go? I think it's put it this way. I think if you are going a pat, I feel like if you going past your means, obviously it's not. But I think FOMO is an interesting one because I think if you're competitive, if you have or if you have a gambling tendency, FOMO can be real interesting to you. If neither one of those things apply to you, like if you're not trying to compete or if you don't have the gambling, and I'm not saying those are the only things, but FOMO can be really interesting in the aspect of something that others don't know. And I think the fact of people finding that out is I think that's the interesting FOMO. So for instance, if something happens in the game or something notice happens, the FOMO isn't really the FOMO isn't really on if you're gonna miss out, but it's like, are you gonna have enough time to get the cards that you want? I like that FOMO, right? But then there's taste, then it's distasteful FOMO where it's like, yo, you're not gonna be able to compete with everybody. You're not gonna miss anything. Patience is the key. Like it's if you have things that you want in your collection, focus on that. If something pops up or if everybody moves at the same pace, we were just kind of talking about it last week. There's certain cards that are interesting because of pop, right?
Yep.
If you're chasing that and that was never a card, it doesn't make any sense. Now, if that's something that you were interested in and now you want to see if you can pull it off, that's different. But I don't think people should fall into the FOMO aspect of literally missing out. It's just not right, man.
So I'll answer a question with a question. And for like, is FOMO helpful? It's helpful to who? Like, you're saying
Right.
helpful to the hobby, or you're saying helpful to the individual who has FOMO?
Hmm.
I think FOMO could be really helpful for hobbies to grow. I
Yes.
think it's like an infusion. Like, if you create FOMO, like, it attracts, like, nothing attracts a crowd like another crowd.
Yes.
And FOMO creates that first crowd because people start to like miss out, and then they see there's so many people in it, and then it grows even bigger. So I think FOMO is great for growing hobbies.
Yep.
For individuals, like, I've had FOMO. I'll tell you guys one is Zero. When it clicked for me that Zero's name was Zero, he was the first
Yeah.
skin in the item shop of chapter 2. Zero, 0 point, Zero War, Zero everywhere, right? And he
Hmm.
looks like a figure that they had on like the little rock talisman. Like Zero, I was like, oh shit, like I have to get a Zero,
Yeah.
right? And I ran out and I bought the full set of Zeros, Object Hollow and the Shard. Spent too much. Then it came time later, it's like I don't even care about Zero, like, I don't rock him, anything, so I ended up selling him. Not that he's not cool, it's just it wasn't one that I rocked or anything. So I was like, "Dang, I have FOMO got me there." So I don't think it's necessarily helpful
Yeah.
if it puts you out of, like, your realm of, like, what you wanna collect,
There you go.
right? Like,
Yep.
if you're interested, that's great, but, like, you were talking about low pop.
Yeah.
I don't care about low pop shards
Exactly. Yeah.
unless I like the skin or I think the skin has some kind of connection otherwise. That's
Yeah.
just me personally. Like
Yeah.
a pop 1 Gem 10 Series 1 USA shard of a skin that I think is absolutely trash
Hmm.
has no interest to me, and so,
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna get FOMO trying to get that,
Yeah.
me personally.
And
But FOMO's
mhm.
fun, it can be fun if it's something you enjoy, but, like, I think it's great for the hobby, just it can cloud your judgment for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah. And where my FOMO kicked in more, like that doesn't get me anymore. I've been in too long, but where FOMO really kicked in for me was when it wasn't so much like, so for instance, if a card that I want, like let's say it's a new card that I want, right? It's just one that piqued my interest. If I go on eBay and I see there's only one or two available, my FOMO kicks in like, okay, I have to get this right now. It is like there's like no thinking it through A, B, and C. It was like, and people wouldn't even be on the radar of that car, but I just feel like somebody knows what I know. And then I had to pop that in. And that's the way it was used to be, but
Real
that's not
quick,
the case no more.
Smackdown, we're talking like PSA pop report. Like how many Gym Mints PSA 10 cards are there? When we
Yeah,
say
yeah,
pop,
yeah.
we're not saying Funko Pops. This is funny. So he said, JL's saying that the pump that got away from me, the USA
Yeah.
Crystal Shard pump, that was FOMO. That wasn't FOMO. If I had FOMO, I would have had that pump. That was opposite. That's the time that FOMO would have helped me. Um, Now here's like a part where I think this would be accurate FOMO.
Yes.
Like I think Midas selling for 1,500, 2,000 is fine based on Series 1 and Series 2 shard print run.
Mhm.
Like, that was FOMO that makes sense. Like, I would have probably done that, like, if I had the money. Like,
Mhm.
I think that's FOMO that makes sense. Midas at 15K out the rip, because I remember with someone
Yeah.
like, when the Series 3 first came out, the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
Midas
yeah,
found,
yeah.
it was listed
Yeah.
for 15,000. That's FOMO for sure. But, like, if you compare it to a Series 1, like, you don't wanna miss out on Midas. I think paying a USA Series 1 shard price, even like, I was doing that for Sparkplug, Focus, and, Elite Agent, right?
Mhm.
I was buying those at listed price at 150, 200 because I was afraid that they won't be as rare as Series 1 Series 2. I was afraid of missing out on those skins, right? So I was buying them at, like, those high prices, and then the cars started to come down, like, I think, Sparkplug came down to, like, 30 and 40,
Yep.
so I shot myself in the foot with that FOMO. Um
Yeah. And that's no, that's a good point. And like to tie JT's in there, it was weird because we understood what series 1 and series 2 was. And at the time of series 3 coming out, I think we've all accepted that series 2 is a little bit more scarce than we thought. Like that was like that time frame. Like it was like everybody started looking at series 2 like, wait a second, this is a little bit more scarce than we thought. And then series 3 drops, and we're like, okay, if it's on par with series 2, then you got to hit the ground running on that.
Yeah.
And to Dylan's point, if you did have the money, if you set it and forget it, like you got it out the way, at the end of the day, it's like you holding it for X amount of time. So it kind of depends on how that plays out. But it was also different from series 2 as well, because series 3 had an immediate chase card, and that was different.
Yeah.
That was
Okay,
different.
so let's talk about that. So, like, they're saying, like, the FOMO for Ice Cream for Series 2. I feel like it wasn't FOMO, it was people trying to figure out what the chase
What
card
was
was
what?
for
Yeah.
Series 2, and
Yeah.
Ice King had a bump, so Ice Queen, the pair, got a bump.
Mm,
Yeah, I guess there was FOMO because people were, like, selling that was them
yeah.
trying to identify what the chase card was,
Mhm.
and, like, this was before we had the show or anything. I wasn't pumping up, but I was selling those ice queens so fast.
Mhm.
Like I said earlier, Lane said he'd pay 1K for PSA 10. I don't care if it's a low gem rate. If it's a skin I care nothing about, and ice queen's one of the ones I care nothing about. So like I'm
Mhm.
not trying to get a PSA 10 full set. Like I get it.
Mhm.
Like if you're trying to complete the full PSA 10 set because you think you can sell the full thing for like a profit later, that makes sense. I get it as a collector. Like if you collect the full sets of PSA 10, I get that. That's not how I collect, so I was like,
Mhm.
I don't care about that one for 1K. Is that FOMO? No, I don't think so. Not if like you have like a goal. Like if your goal is PSA 10 for the full set,
Mhm.
that's gonna be hard regardless. So it
Yeah.
kind of makes sense. So it really
Mhm.
just depends who's doing it and why they're doing it. Because it could be
Yeah.
FOMO. If you
Yeah.
just think one card's price is gonna skyrocket for
Mhm.
whatever reason, and so you wanna buy it as soon as possible, that might be FOMO.
Yeah. Like that those cards like Ice Queen and stuff like that, those are always my favorite to pull but I wouldn't use those to sell. Those was trade bait for me. That was
Mm.
I mean, I moved into a couple cards that I never like
Well, we came
that
in
was
we
it for
came in
me.
series 2 a little differently, right? You came
Yeah.
in
Well, no, I
after it
came
was
in
released?
at the beginning of it. Like I literally
Oh,
started
okay.
at series 2.
Okay, because I remember I remember buying Auras for $25
No, yeah,
and,
it
and
was
selling,
real.
like, Ultimate Nights for, like, crazy amounts of money. I was like, "Man, I don't know what the heck's going on here, but I'm gonna capitalize on this."
See, and the hard part for me is when I came in, um, once again, the story doesn't change really. It gets annoying at this point. But it was Lux. So I needed all the ammo possible. I'm getting everything. Like I'm like, okay. And you know what it was at that time. At that time, I mean, it was a Lux on there for the not sell price
Lux
on. Yeah,
Lux was going crazy,
it was
being the
insane.
last card. That's what hurts you
Yep.
because the early collectors knew nothing about Fortnite for some
Hmm.
reason, and, like, Lux would not have been so expensive. Not that it's
Yep.
not a fire card.
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
wouldn't have been it was, like, labeled, like, it's the last card in the set, like, this is a chase card,
I
and,
agree.
like, it was
I
like
agree. Well, I
I
was
probably
confused. I was
I
confused.
probably would've grabbed a Lux if I could, if it was
Yeah,
at a lower price, but, like, I never had the skin, I just always
yeah,
wanted it, so I'm not spending crazy amounts of money that I had no
yeah,
connection to.
yeah. And
No,
it was like
that sucks.
even like I remember the times where like and this was what, like obviously just before we started. I think this was the summer of I want to say this was the summer of 21. Uh Crystal Shards was I think a raw mega did like I think it was like 1400. Drift was around that number. Raven, and it was the first
I
pro Steam
I
auction that was like
sold
crazy. Yeah.
I sold a wild card during that time, raw for, like, 750.
Yeah, it was insane. It was
Yeah.
insane. It was, and I think those moments, and that's why I was talking when we were talking about earlier how you collect. I do think you have to be aggressive coming in though. Don't have FOMO like we're talking about, but be aggressive because if you do have a chase card, it's not going to be
Be
easy to get.
aggressive if these are things that you want,
Right.
right? Like, that's the difference. If you're comfortable with the price now and you
Hmm.
can do it,
Yep.
because there's so few of some of these, unless we're being, like, hoodwinked, right? It's been, like,
Yep.
4 or 5 years now, but, like, the ones you want in USA are really hard to find. Like, I
Yeah.
still don't have a Fable. I have gold like, what do I have a Gold Trooper. I mean, I sold Dark Bomber and some of these other ones, but they're still
Uh,
skins I've never had the chance to buy. So, like, let's say, like, you're a Fable fan, and, like,
Well,
that's your favorite
the
skin.
opportunity wasn't right. Say it that the
Yeah.
opportunity wasn't right.
Yeah, yeah, but, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
for the
yeah.
most part, it took me years for Fable to appear, and when it
Hmm.
did appear, like, it was gone in, like, a minute. I was like, "Dang, I missed." Same thing with Gold
Yep.
Trooper. It took me forever to get Gold Trooper. And there's skins I never see pop up. Not that they're, like, crazy popular, they just don't pop
Yeah.
up.
And Drift was an absolute headache. Drift was a headache
I bet.
because oh man, I mean that took me the whole. I mean, I just got it. What was it like? Let's call it 6 months ago, and I was looking at it. I was looking for it after I got Lux. I was looking for every that was I got Omega before her, which was a win. Thank God that I didn't have to give that away to get her. But yeah, it's interesting, man.
What do you think the print run is
I
for Series 2?
I think about this way too much.
Yeah, I think about
Yeah.
it too. I mean, we're still trying to figure out Series 1. I think
What's
Series
your
1
what's your
is,
guess for
like
series 1 and series 2?
I think Series 1 is could be under 100.
It could
So I
be.
like I see like 100 to 200 to be safe. I would like
Okay.
to double it to be safe. I think Series 2 could be 250 maybe less.
Yeah. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna be honest. I cannot see, let's call it 50 more Black Knights being pulled. We don't know how many David Adams has. We don't know how many anybody has, right? There can be a whole lot of
I
series one mega box out there. I just cannot see 50 more being
I
pulled
did a
or recovered.
hypothetical thing. I did a
Yeah,
hypothetical thing on David Adams on
right.
like what I thought they would have left.
Yeah.
And I forget what I said. I think I did it by like cases. Like how much do you think they would have before they like pull them off the shelves?
Right. Right. I would say they would have to
Anyway, whatever I did, I came to the conclusion, and this is not factual at all. This is just me.
speculation.
This is 100% speculation. I came to the speculation that they only have 10 of each card left.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
my speculation, and I forget how I came to that. I'm not even gonna try to guess, but like my speculation, I bet they have about 10 of each card left in mega boxes.
Hmm.
Um, So, and who knows, I could be far off, but, like, I think well, the funniest thing is we were talking about the Garbage Pail Kids, and everyone's like, "You guys are going crazy over a verified print run of 600 of these." Like, it went up to, like, 1,500 at one point on
Hmm.
eBay. I was like but, like, Series 1, Series 2 is like, there's no way those are hitting 600.
No,
There's no
and
way even half of that.
No, and you know what I mirror mine's at, and to JL's point, like yeah, JL, we would definitely agree. David Adams has it all what it feels like, and I mean obviously we have Steel City Collectibles that have some, uh, but who knows? Another this yeah, the
Can I
damage
answer?
box. Yeah, go ahead.
So a long time ago, I saw a post, and basically, it's my understanding that David Adams was buying mega boxes from retailers, from
Hmm.
hobby stores and things like that. They were going through and they were buying these everywhere they could. So the fact that we're talking about their damaged boxes, all a lot, 90% of their boxes are damaged. So like, they didn't buy these from Panini. Y'all have to understand that the mega boxes were Target exclusives. So yes,
Hmm.
they may have a deal with Panini and stuff like that, but they could not get them because they were literally Target exclusives.
Hmm.
Okay, so they got these from third parties, right? They did not get these straight from Panini. So that's my understanding.
Yeah,
So they're gonna be damaged. They're not like they didn't get like straight cases off the thing.
yeah.
So
And yo, Jo is funny. Jo, I can't tell you how many times I thought about this. I'm like, I need to get a part-time job at David Adams. I need to work at the warehouse. But
you need to go. You
yo,
need to go undercover. We
I need
should
to
do
go
like
undercover.
a whole like episode series, like a whole series of Rob going
Literally,
undercover at David Adams,
literally,
and then he
bro.
comes on the show and he's like, "All right, guys, I got closer. I met with the production manager. I went to the back. I'm getting closer to the Fortnite section.
Yep.
I'll report to y'all next week."
Could you imagine like they giving me the tour and they just keep talking about all these sports cards? I'm like, yeah, okay, okay, okay. Where's the Fortnite cards at though? That's what I want to know. But you got to keep it on the low. You can't even mention that. If I did that at this point, I gotta be completely undercover. I thought about it. I'm not gonna lie, a couple times.
And this isn't a fact, JL, but like that, it is true that it was the fact that they are Target exclusives. So I don't know how else they would be able to get them straight from Panini with them being Target exclusives. Of course,
Mhm.
there could be like them going behind the back, Panini being shady and stuff like that. But as far as
Yeah,
I know, I mean, they were Target exclusives. So
yeah. Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me.
it's not a bad plan.
It's
It's
not a
literally
bad
not.
play.
Could you get sued for that? Probably
100%. You sound
because
like
like
Michael Scott when he was.
seriously though, it's like because that's their whole market. Like someone said
Yeah,
that Warfire said they're the biggest market manipulators. I wouldn't say they're the market manipulators. I think I think there's a difference, right? Like they're
yeah,
allowed to price it for whatever they sell. If they see the demand is going up, they're gonna pull back. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's kind of smart business. Like they're keeping their thumb on it, right?
yeah,
Versus like people like trying to say, hey, don't do this, don't do that. So the price, I don't know if they're doing that. I haven't ever heard them say that. But if they see a lot of people buying their stuff, oh yeah, I'm not gonna be selling them that fast, you know?
yeah.
So
And to JT's point right here is Still City puts it up at like 4 or 5 at a time, and that can be their strategy as well. We do know those are the two places though. We know that it's David
here's
Adams and
what's
Still City.
crazy. Here's what's crazy. Why are they doing that though? And not bringing them to the shows? Because we talked to them at the
Hmm.
show
We did.
and they're like, oh, they don't really sell. All right, then why
Hmm.
are the prices so high? If they don't really sell, bring down the price.
Yeah.
Why aren't you bringing down the price if they don't sell?
Hmm.
I don't know. That's it's a little weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some shady there.
Yeah. So all I gotta do is this is where I'll be good. I'll trim down my beard and I'll take my hat off. Nobody would know. That's how we do it. That's the disguise. I'll be good. Get the
No,
wear the
what we
body
gotta do?
cam.
No, let's separate this, right? Let's
Okay.
Rob, find somebody that is looking for a job.
There you go.
Like, yo, my man, can you go and do this for me?
They
Like, get
gonna
this
flag
job
this
here.
episode. Scheming.
They would have to watch an hour in to be able to hear this. I think we're
My
good.
younger brother could take another part-time job. He can do that.
All
He
right,
got
yeah,
that. He
yeah.
got that
Then
in the
have them take a
bag.
part-time job, get them in there, and the community, if they get us the data, the community will hook them up, right, guys?
Yeah, there
I
you go.
think $20 each from everyone in here, we will
Yeah,
hook them up if they can get us an exact number.
man. There it is.
You're curious about which market manipulation? The ones we were talking about?
Mm.
You said
The crystal
why
shard.
is Series 1 mega boxes selling for more than the hobby boxes? Because the mega boxes have the shards and the hobby boxes only get hollows.
It's backwards, Matt, compared
It's
to what it
backwards in
usually
sports.
is.
Like mega box is the only like it's the major pool,
Hmm.
right? It's like hobby boxes doesn't really get you more than like a fat pack.
Yeah, yeah. No, this is but Warfighter, to your point earlier about how you went to the pins. Listen, sometimes you gotta do that. Sometimes you gotta take a nice little break, clear your head. It gets like that sometimes.
See, I love my cards, man. I've been
Hmm.
looking at One Piece cards a little bit, but like
Hmm.
I keep coming back to Fortnite cards, and
I
I
tried.
don't I don't care about like what everyone else is doing.
I tried.
Someone posted a red jade.
Yeah,
I told you this, a PSA 8 tonight. I don't know if they came out tonight. I just before the show I went on eBay. I saw a red jade PSA 8. I used to have a red jade 10. Traded it
yeah,
for a Hush 10, and I sold the Hush 10. And I was like, dang, I really want a red jade, and this one's under $100, like $99. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna grab this. I want this card. I didn't go to look up like what the last one sold for and stuff like that. It's just the card that I wanted. I felt like an 8 was pretty good for $100. So like if you're worried about like the bad taste of what everyone else is doing, manipulating and stuff like that, just pay attention to like what you want
hmm,
and the rarity of it. And you can find out like we know series 1 and series 2 is fairly rare, right? I'm comfortable
yeah,
doing that. And I want the card. So like that's kind of how I operate. And I
yeah,
have no bad taste. People can do whatever they want. I just say I'll just let the market do what
yeah.
it needs to do. Like if people ask me like what do you think this is going to do? I was like I don't know. I just collect what I like to collect.
Oh yeah, it's definitely no Warfighter. We feel you.
That's
It's
true.
cutthroat. It's cutthroat out here for sure. It is. It is.
There's
And
people trying to make money. There's definitely people trying to make money out here.
if you want me to be honest, I'll even take that a step further, Warfighter. That is why I am so big on getting the main cars that I want, so I don't have to deal with it no more, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, get that card because, like, if it falls into the right hands, it could get difficult. It can get difficult, but that that's a part of the hobby, and that's why, like, I feel you on that. But it's a part of it. It's everywhere, man. It's just not Fortnite cards. It's everything. But I know what you getting at. I know what you're getting at.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. I just try to just
You
brush
got
it
to stay,
off and
yeah. It's a like I think a lot of times what happens is because the community is so small and everybody knows each other. Uh, if somebody does change, it throws people off, but people gonna change, bro. People gonna change. It's gonna happen, and people are gonna they're gonna change the way they move more than anything, based off of what they have, what they don't have, what they let go, what they decided not to let go, what the price sold for, what it didn't sell for. It's all gonna come into play. It's just that you just gotta stay absent minded of that stuff.
um what I haven't been paying attention to the Razzles on Facebook group. Are they're overpriced? I don't know. I feel like Razzles I don't ever pay attention to those things because like
Yeah,
I don't like to gamble with as much money as I could just go and buy a card.
yeah.
So I'm a really unlucky person. I always get the shittiest luck. So I don't do those. I rather just go and buy the card I want to buy.
Hmm.
So if they're overpriced, yeah, could be.
Yeah,
Who has the software for charting Fortnite cards? What do you mean? I mean, we have the you're talking about this for your collection. This is on FortniteCards.com, unless you're talking about something else.
yeah. If that's, I
We
I
just
hope.
released
Yeah.
this. It's still in beta. We're looking for people to beta test it for us and give me some feedback. I already found one error where like if you search a card and then hit the plus, it doesn't work. You have to like
Hmm.
refresh it. So thank you, Westrum, who found that. So if anybody else finds any errors for this, so like now if you refresh it, it works.
Yeah.
It should work. Yeah, it pops up on the side there. So if you find any errors, please let me know. If that's not the software you're talking about, like a stock chart of like prices. Oh, I don't
Mm.
know.
Yeah.
I feel like Fortnite's really hard on that because cards just don't pop up.
Yeah, like even I'll just use an example, not to give them a plug or anything, but even like to your point, even Card Ladder hasn't adapted that yet for us. You know what I mean? Like everything else, it's kind of nuanced charts A, B, and C, but Fortnite cards are so scattered and stuff. You really can't do that yet for us. Not that you can't get the prices, but more so, a consistent one because most of the cards don't hit the market. Most of the cards are, whether it's the Facebook group,
Yeah,
whether it's Discord.
And
whether it's a trade.
they
Yeah,
never go for, like, Fable, for instance, I one finally popped up on eBay for buy it now at 150 and it was gone, so I didn't get to buy
yeah,
it, right? So that
yeah.
stuff happens all the time for some. I haven't been paying attention to Facebook. I posted a couple I tried to get some comments in there. People sounds like they're leaving the Facebook group, Warfighter Lane, y'all so lots of negative views. I mean, y'all know we have the Discord. Is there any lessons learned that that we can take from this?
No,
I
yeah,
don't control the Facebook group. That's not us,
yeah.
right? But we're in there, but we don't control it. So, as we're building community, let me know like what are some things that are making you guys leave and the negative stuff, so that we can keep growing the hobby in the Discord and on YouTube, of course.
Yeah, because I'll speak on one thing. I think a major problem right now is that it feels like people can't be pessimistic freely.
Hmm.
And I'll say it that way. Listen, everybody's not JT just brought it up to us last week, a couple weeks ago. He was like, "How are y'all so optimistic on more cards coming out?" Um, everybody's not gonna feel that way. Everybody's
Yeah.
not gonna feel positive rainbows and sunshines and all these things. It's not gonna be that way, bro. Like some people are gonna, from their viewpoint, it doesn't look good. And that's is okay, because to be honest, there's things that's there that rightfully so they can feel that way. I mean, we haven't gotten a definitive answer on if more cards are gonna. We have great evidence that we dug up, thankfully, that gave us more positivity on it.
Yeah.
But some people didn't see that episode. Some people didn't hear that news. And with that being said, they looking at it like, yo, all I know is when I left, this card was at this price and now it's at that price, and there's no more cards coming out. And I think people can rightfully feel that way.
Yeah, I haven't really seen the post. I haven't been paying attention, but yeah, I mean, I think my mind, Rob and I argue all the time.
Yeah,
You can see it on
exactly.
here. We
Yeah,
disagree all
all
the
the
time.
time, all the time.
Um, and so like you just have to like let people collect how they want to collect,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you can argue. Like I feel like it's fine if people get in there and
yeah,
argue your point and stuff like that. But you shouldn't tell people like not to
yeah,
say negative things or not to have an opinion. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's hopefully that the Discord I see that all in the Discord and it seems to be all good and stuff. I don't plan to really kick people out for like giving their opinions unless people are
yeah,
just being like rude and stuff like that. I might like kick someone out for like a week or whatever.
yeah,
But for the most part, like I want to build the community up and keep everyone like contributing whatever they think.
yeah. And yeah, I was talking to Mac. He was actually the branch off that I had of kind of the stronghold that Epic Games puts on the markets and stuff like that. It's that's kind of tying to what we were talking about earlier, but it can be daunting sometimes I think, if anything, if I'm being honest, like we just talked about for an hour or so, the marketing is always what worries me the most. That's where I'm most pessimistic, if I have to be honest, just based off of what we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird that they've never marketed the cards. It's always weird to hear that, Don Mustard had to argue with marketing all the time to get things across.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean
yeah. I mean, does we call that?
I mean, I hope that, like, when Fortnite cards comes out with Topps, they just let Topps do their thing.
Yeah,
Now, the weird thing is, like, Topps is gonna wanna do, like, code skins and things like that. I wonder if I wonder if we can, I wonder if that'll happen.
yeah.
I
It's
really hope so.
it's and this is Inky Bruh's point right here is it's just, yeah, man, it's tough because he's talking about, I guess he sold his Midas laser. I think it was a PSA 10, and from my understanding, I think it was one of the ones that had the line, or it was kind of off centered. It wasn't the ones that we're talking about, quote, right? And I think in Inky, I won't say the price because you didn't ask me to, and it was technically in a private Facebook group, so I won't say the price. But the price, in my opinion, was proper. I thought it was a great price. I did,
You
and
got bashed for selling one of your Midas like, I thought the Facebook group had all the rules about no price bashing. Is that out the window now?
it,
I didn't see this, so
yeah, I seen the price that it sold for, and I was like, that's wow, that was interesting. And I think yeah, so it was 1200. It was 1200. I mean, Midas laser, that is super,
a
that's
PSA 10?
Yeah, yeah,
Laser,
yeah,
and he's over for 1,200.
yeah,
That's $1,200, people. I mean,
yeah.
nice sale, Inky. I don't know.
And
And people were mad at you for what?
it's interesting, man. It's interesting because I think that a lot of times, every people want the record sell immediately, or they want the justify sell. That's the word I wanted to get at. Justify sell to prove what it's worth. And I just don't think that's how things work immediately. Like I just don't.
Oh, this is more confirmation. So Epic Games
Yeah.
does this to other licensed companies too, not just the cards?
Yeah. We talked off live on this.
Like,
Yeah.
why? Like, what could they gain from this?
JT super fast. I seen it and I think it's sold under, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's sold under 10 minutes. That's from, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, I think that's a great sale. I also think it's a great value for whoever bought it. Based off like how much you guys want Midas and how everyone's chasing the PSA 10 laser. I think that's a good for both sides. I don't know why people are arguing.
And here's the crazy thing. The fact the fact that they felt it was too high for the card that somebody wanted to post their price for is, that's insane to me, bro. Like I don't get it. Like and it's sold. That's the it's not like it's just sitting there. It's sold. So I don't know. I don't know on that one.
I mean, are there any available cheaper?
Not a 10. A 10 is not even on eBay, bro. It's not even on, it's a PSA 9 on eBay. And I think it may be one raw one. That's it. I'm
Like so, like if like I remember I bought an Aura for 1,000,
I
SGC
remember that
10
sell.
for 1,000.
Yeah.
I remember I bought that one, and there were no other sales.
I thought it was the BGS.
No, I thought about buying the BGS. I bought the SGC.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I the BGS looked so beautiful, but
Remember
then
you
I saw the
remember that
SGC
card?
pop up. Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
I was on
yeah,
the fence. I had both
yeah.
in my car. I was like trying to figure out which one to get, and I bought the SGC one, and I was like, I didn't have any other proof points of like other people buying this and like what the price was and stuff. Like I bought it because like, hey, this is a 10. It's not PSA 10. It's not the SGC one. It looks great, and I find it was my first 10.
Yeah,
Right, at the time. It was my first 10 because I had raw ones.
yeah,
So and I was like, "Man, I'm gonna buy this. It looks so great for 1,000." And that's what I wanted.
yeah,
Now, to be bashed for buying, like, an uncommon skin for $1,000, I've been pissed too, to be honest.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't get people need to buy what they want. You can have your opinions, but, like, you can't be price bashing, especially on, like, soul people selling their stuff. Don't go on
Ah,
there and do it.
he gave context. Got you. But that's not how it works
Yeah.
though. Like that's not, yeah, Iki. That's crazy because that's not how it works at all.
They're
Like,
obviously not paying attention to the market then, they're not paying
mhm,
attention that collectors want this card.
yeah, like it's man, I don't
That
know, man.
that's wild. I haven't really been paying attention to all the posts in there, I should get back in there. I used to be a keyboard
Well,
warrior in that Facebook group.
you know how I am. Listen, we talk for 2 hours on a Friday. If I have any opinions, I'll wait till Friday because
I
I
try to
don't
wait, like, I'll
I'll
see
be
something
having
and
it.
I'll start writing because you know me, I'll just jump in and
Yeah,
I'll start commenting, and I'll write a whole paragraph like, control alt delete," like, they don't need my opinion right now.
yeah. But and the thing is, to close this out, this is kind of what we talk about here. So it was when we put Midas where we did on our set on our original first list, right? We got uproar about that. We got uproar about, but the truth is, based off of who Midas is, this is gonna happen, and this is just the
Okay,
start of it.
okay.
Like,
Are we doing this? So I was gonna save this for an exclusive video for the premium members, but we haven't been able to do a premium video in a while.
yeah,
Should I just go ahead and talk about that here?
yeah,
The nostalgia thing. All right. So I was talking to Rob, and I was like, um, and the biggest thing for me for nostalgia is like something that like attaches it to an event. And COVID is going to be one of the biggest events to a lot of kids and a lot of
mhm,
people for the longest time ever. And I was like, hey Rob, what season
mhm.
was out during when COVID first hit? Like, what's at the top of your mind? He's like, bro, you know. He's like, that's Midas.
Yeah,
I was like, shit, you're right. So Midas came out, and that season was super long, right during COVID. And
Mhm.
so people over here saying like not paying attention to Midas anymore and the prices are coming down. But like if you think about it, COVID and Fortnite are gonna be forever linked, and that nostalgia is gonna hit for COVID. Whenever people start talking about COVID in the future and all that kind of stuff, growing up, you say, "Oh, you remember COVID? Oh, yeah, we were locked down out
Yeah,
of
yeah.
school." That's when I started homeschooling, that's when I did all those kinds of stuff. It's like, oh, that's when we played Fortnite. Like, I know that's when I started playing Fortnite creative nonstop with, like, a group of, like, 16 people, right? That I remember that heavily. That's when I doubled down on Fortnite, like, playing Fortnite. Like, I was just at home and working from home and playing Fortnite. So I was saying is like, man, Midas might be the guy that is stuck to the nostalgia of Fortnite because of this. So no, I think
Mhm.
1200 is cool. Nice sell, man.
Yeah,
I
and I
mean, it could be
mean,
either way. It could be a horrible sell for you in the future. You know,
yeah,
that's
and
your cross to bear.
yeah, and that's so true. If you even look at, obviously, to Dylan's point, if you look at the number one season on Fortnite GG, shout out to people that love that we reference that. But if you look at the number one season for Fortnite GG, it's chapter 2, season 2, because of that point. Matter of fact, if you go look at some of the YouTube videos and shorts, based off of what Dylan is saying, the way they do the short is like, how did they say it? So paraphrasing it is pretty much, uh how was the pandemic or COVID for you? And then they show that they was enjoying themselves playing chapter 2, season 2, which is
Hmm.
the Midas season. And I thought that was interesting because that, especially that age group, like, obviously we enjoyed playing the game, but specifically for the ones that had the major impression on there, yo, could you imagine? I'm not saying the pandemic or COVID wasn't a bad thing, but I'm talking about for them younger age group. Can you imagine what it's like to sit there and to be with your friends for that amount of time? We know what it did for us, but for them,
Yep.
they're never gonna forget that. They're never gonna forget that.
Me,
Like,
even me and my friends are like that. We'll
yeah,
like, hey, like not even like talking cards or anything. Like people who don't even play cards, don't. Hey, you like you remember we used to play when COVID hit? We used to play Fortnite like all day, every day. Yeah,
yeah,
now you log in, like two or three of your friends are online. But
yep,
back in the day, like 15 people were
crazy.
online, and you had to figure out who were you gonna play with,
Yeah,
right? That's why we had these huge lobbies. That's why we started playing creative because so many people were on. So yeah, that for me makes Midas like top tier,
yep,
and it may not hit now, but he's definitely gonna last. Even if he doesn't get anything, they're gonna remember that season. It was also the most memorable season.
yeah,
Like each like character had their own cutscene when you go into the battle pass. It was insane.
yep.
So hit the
No,
floss. No, I can't do that.
no, and then what's crazy too is, I was pretty much Santa Claus at that time, for my brother's friends. So they noticed that I was buying him because he had all the skins at that time because he was using my bank account. But that's a whole nother conversation. But
He said
but
he was using your
yeah,
bank account.
but so he, he had all the skins, and then, when I would play with him, then he would invite his two friends or whatever the case is, right? I started buying them skins, bro. They was killing me, bro. Like it was across the board. So I know they're never going to forget those moments as well, where they was able to run as a team wearing the same skins, because they was getting me, bro. They was getting me. I mean, that's how I found out about Fortnite cards, because my me and my brother was in different states at the time, and my card is getting hit because I was paying for his Xbox subscription. I'm like, yo, what is going on? Why do I keep getting hit for $10 and $20? Like, what is going on, right? Bro, I come back home, I finally
Dude,
figured it out, and that's how I found out about
you might
Fortnite.
have been able to jump on that Fortnite the what do you call it, the lawsuit. You
The
probably could have got
lawsuit, I
some money
probably
back.
could've. I probably
You probably
could've,
could have
bro.
definitely got some money back.
He was killing me, bro. Like, I'm like, yo, dang, this is nuts. And I didn't know what it was, and that's how I found out about it. So yeah, that was definitely some moments. And
I'm
obviously that
not
was
gonna li
before
I'm not gonna lie, when the Fortnite makeup came out, I bought everything.
it.
I was
Yeah.
like, "I'm just gonna store this over here." If you guys know I have 5 daughters. I'm a girl
Yeah,
dad,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
my kids do my makeup, like, every day. Y'all don't get to see it, but they paint my toes, they put makeup on my
We
face.
seen we seen Aura.
Y'all
No.
saw where I don't did I have makeup on? I don't think so. Um, but so they do that all the time, and so when I got the Fortnite, I was gonna put it away, right? Just to, like, say, man, I had to give one to each girl. I was like, "Alright, you can have this one, you have this one," and then they used up all those things. So, that was my Fortnite makeup's all gone. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Fortnite makeup in Walmart was, like, a crazy display. I haven't seen any, like, Fortnite display like that for one of those third party
yeah,
products.
yeah.
Did they do some marketing too? That was marketed.
That was marketed. Yep.
That one had marketing.
Yeah, I mean, it's all interesting of what they I won't even just say allow, whatever the case is, what they allow. I will say that what they allow to be marketed and what they don't allow to be marketed.
Dang, JT is hip. How'd you know, JT? How'd you know? Don't blow up my
Yeah.
spot. Don't blow up my spot. The
That
2018
2018
Battle
Battle
Bus
Bus
Walmart.
Walmart display.
I don't remember that
Dang.
display. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, yeah, that's funny.
That's true, JL. David Adams proves like you will get your price if you allow time to pass. And
Yeah.
I think Fortnite's a good one, especially if you're talking about like crystal shards or lasers or anything
Mhm.
that's low population. It's like put
Yep.
it what you want. If as long as you're now, I'm not saying like post the same card for $1 million 20 times Westrum, but you know what I mean? I'm not saying that, right? You're not gonna get
Yeah.
that price, but for like if you put in a price that you think is like above market, that you think it's what it's worth, and you're willing to wait, more the power to you, right? Like I
'Cause
wouldn't if I
yeah.
posted my aura, like if I'm looking at like the auras on the market right now that are 3,500 and they're on my watch list, right? If I'm doing that, I'm not selling mine because obviously that's
Yeah.
it's intriguing me enough to want to like buy it. I'm not selling mine for that.
Yeah.
So like I feel you guys.
Okay, Mac, please do. Yeah, and yeah, like I don't even play that game, bro. I'm not posting
I like it.
Lux
I like
Omega
it.
Drift nowhere. I ain't even
Y-
playing that game.
We are we gonna change this podcast title
I
to I
stay
stand with
with
Inky,
Inky,
bruh?
bro.
I think we should we should change
Yeah,
the name of this podcast. I stand
that's
with Inky,
funny.
brother. That's a dope name. I like
No,
that.
yeah, that is. No, that's funny.
Sticker picker. I feel like I've bought in a lot of cards from you. That name sounds very familiar on eBay, and I feel like I've bought in
Yeah.
a lot of Italy cards from you.
Mm.
I might be wrong, but I feel like I've bought in a lot.
Where is that? There was something I can't find it no more. Something I want to comment on, but I can't find it.
But was it was it the it better not been the makeup part.
No, no, no. We we know what it is, bro. It's all right. But have
Alright,
you been
so go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead, bro.
No, I was gonna say, did you have anything else you wanna get into?
No, that was good. I just caught a glance of the game. That's what caught me off guard. Um, but no,
Dang, he's
that's
watching the game during this? That's
yeah,
crazy.
no, this the playoffs, bro. I gotta have that on there.
Don't start talking basketball, we won't stop. We won't
No, no,
stop.
no, no. I'm not gonna talk basketball. I'm not gonna talk basketball, bro. That Indiana Bucks game was crazy though, but we're not gonna talk basketball.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk basketball.
No,
Oh,
but
FNCS news? I don't know if there is
well,
any.
well, that first of all, it's been first of all, the past 2 weeks has been pretty interesting. I know you might not have been able to catch any of it, but Clicks and them clutched up the first, not even clutch, they dominated the first week. That was amazing. Bro, it's been taking me so long to get through. Like I used to be able to get through like in like 2 days, 2 or 3 days, because my wife would watch it with me from time to time. It took me a week to get through the first last week's FNCS, bro. It was tough. Like my attention span is really bad right now when it comes to like just sitting down watching content or something. Like I can't do it. I usually like have it while I'm working or something like that, but I haven't had a chance. But I finally got through EU, and that was great as well.
Yeah, I don't ever have time to do any of that kind of stuff. Just sit down and watch content.
No, you gotta you
That's
gotta have it. You gotta have it while you're working. Because the thing is that I do say that Fortnite has that other games don't. You can listen to it without sound. You can see exactly what's going on, the diagrams and everything that's on the screen. Fortnite does have that going for them for sure. Peterbot is a
so
savage.
who's going to Texas? I was
I
telling
am
Rob
for
before
sure.
this.
Yeah,
Rob is for sure. I'm was like 90% going, but
yeah,
there's lots of stuff going on, and so I'm on the fence now. I was like 95% going, and now I'm a little bit on the fence. So I'll let you guys
yeah,
know.
yeah. Bronny goes to Denver.
Yo,
No,
stop.
yeah,
Y'all over here talking sports. Y'all gonna make me talk about basketball.
no. This is but
Did you
no,
get
but
the verses I sent you?
yeah, I got the verses you sent. You sent me one, right?
Yeah, just
Yeah,
one.
yeah, I got that. Mac, dang, I wish. Hold on, let me see. Maybe you can. Mac sent me the. This is dope. Dang, I never seen this before. They sent the. He sent the battle bus. But versus, let's see. I'm about to put them up here. At a
You guys
couple.
will send me the battle pass too, so I can
Yeah,
take a
yeah,
look.
yeah. I'm about to send it to you. Let me see. All right, let's go with that one. First one up.
Ooh, that one's easy. Well, have we done this one? I mean, easily Red Knight for I say easily, but yeah, I think
Yeah, it's
Red
nice.
Knight.
Yeah, I like both of these. This one was a little bit closer than it used to be for me. I'll say that. It's Red Knight though.
Yeah, Red
It's
Knight
Red
for
Knight.
me.
Yeah, it's Red
Red
Knight.
Knight's just more wearable skin. You see it, you remember it. Both are legendary skins, cost 2,000 V-bucks.
Ravens more
Ravens
iconic though.
Raven is more iconic, but Red Knight's more popular.
Yeah, yeah. I would say this one is I just remember the moment of Raven, so I'm always gonna have like that weak spot for that. Like Raven was major.
Hmm.
But Red Knight, like you said, that red plus just man, the show Red Knight is definitely it, but it was very close.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the ones that market will decide.
Yeah.
Um, I know the market originally decided Red Knight for sure. Red Knight was hugely popular,
That could flip though.
but when I say the market it has been changing. So
Mhm.
like that's one that market will have to decide.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh,
8 Ball versus Ultimate Knight.
y'all know how I feel about Ultimate Knight. Eight
I
ball for me. I guess eight ball for me. To be honest, I don't even care about eight ball
uh,
either. To be honest, but eight ball. I remember eight ball way more than I remember Ultimate Knight.
yeah. Ultimate Knight, the transition into the ending, the last skin for chapter 1. But more than anything, I love the card. I mean, that card is vicious. Y'all know that in the card world, in the game, the female skins is the thing for me to play with. But in the card market, I like the male skins that has that strong presence like that. So it's 8 Ball though. It's 8 Ball.
You say he says all that, and then he goes eight ball.
No, 8 Ball pose is crazy. You like how I did that?
Yeah, it is crazy.
8
I like
Ball,
the black on blue.
yeah,
The black on blue. It's a lot better than Lynx's card was black on blue,
yeah.
but Lynx is kind of like muted. This one is like a lot nicer.
It's like that hush. It's like the hush blue.
Just like the hush blue. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
He does look like he's about to
Yeah,
Rick James
yeah.
slap
He
somebody.
about to send that here, bro. Nah, 8 Ball is 8 Ball card and pose and everything is dope. The Pump versus Skull Trooper.
You can go first because I think I went first on the other ones.
All right. This is very hard. I'll be honest. If they were on the table in front of me, I'm definitely going Skull Trooper, but that's not gonna be an easy pick. It's not gonna be an easy pick. Um,
Um, Pump for me. Um, I mean, it's one of those things like one's a skin and one is just a weapon, but the pump literally means that much to me specifically. And I had my chance to buy this and I didn't. Now, back in the day, if there was a Skull Trooper up there for the same price the pump was, I would have instantly bought the Skull
right,
Trooper.
right,
Interesting enough, for where I am today and what I collect today, I'd rather have the pump. I don't know that that's right value wise,
right.
but that's what I want more is the pump. So I would go pump.
And another thing is the thing that really intrigues me about the pump in general, besides it being the pump, is that it's the original art. You know, if the pump comes back in the game today, like it's not gonna be this one. You know, that style, the style of art is vaulted in its in a sense. And
Yeah,
that's what I really it's a moment in time. You know what I mean? That is the double pump right there.
and it's a gold pump.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a gold one. So yeah,
Shout
that
out to Shiny Puller. Good luck opening your blisters.
yes,
Hope you pull a Black Knight Hollow or a Gold Trooper Hollow
that would be amazing.
or a Peely Hollow
Or all the top ones. There you go.
or a Drip
Yeah,
Hollow.
yeah. All those are good plays right there. Hey,
Yeah, ooh,
that's dope,
pump. I really
JL. JL,
like.
do you have the full weapon set? That would be dope.
He has a really good collection. I would be
I
surprised if
know.
he doesn't.
He has to. Yeah, his
Um,
collection crazy.
I honestly, if I get a Mega Box and Rip and I pull the pump, I'll be happy. No
Oh
matter
yeah.
what the other card is,
Oh yeah.
I'll be so happy.
The crazy part is you can get a haymaker with pulling the pump. Like if that pump is that top card, the bottom card could be pretty crazy too. That's what's the beauty of it being what it is. Oh
You
dang.
lost all your guns in a boat accident. Here's my question, Warfighter. How many guns did you have on the boat, and why were all your guns on a boat, and where were you headed with those guns? Can
And
we
do
even put
you
this on the podcast? We might have to
then
bleep this out.
I'll ask you a question, Dylan. Do you really want to know the answers to
I
those?
don't wanna know. I was just joking. Let's go back to Fortnite. I don't even I don't even know this. Too many questions. My bad.
Yo.
Alright.
Okay, here we go. This one is an interesting one. This
So, when this was sent to me, I was like, "You know what? I never noticed that they're both, like, bikers," and
yeah,
it would
yeah,
be really funny if, like, there was something on the jackets that made them part of the same biker gang.
yeah.
That'd have been dope. Um, I'm gonna go with Backbone because he's the one I remember the most.
Backbone.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I remember him the most. I remember more than Riot. I always forget about Riot.
I think I just in general like Backbone, the skin better. So yeah, I'll go Backbone as well. Um,
And I will preface this with, like, I don't like either of these skins,
yeah,
by the way.
the
But, like,
the
if I had to
bandana
choose, I'd
with
probably
the
go Backbone.
sunglasses. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a better card.
Yeah, that's I'll take that. I'm trying to send you this. I'm gonna send you want which here, I'm gonna send this to you real quick so you can see it.
Yeah, Western's asking which one's a harder grade. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one.
He said that punk ass mohawk. He's like, get out of here. I think we're all on the same page with Backbone.
They are saying the word. Okay, let's see. Dire versus Ragnarok. First of all, aesthetically, that's
Dang,
dope, right?
this battle pass, I mean battle bus display I've never seen before is dope as heck. Dang, that's cool.
Warfighter, yeah, backbone just hits a little different. You know, he got the bullets on the chain. Yeah, yeah, no, that's a dope one for sure. Dire or Rag, bro?
Dire for me. You know, that's my favorite season. I
Yeah,
never cared about Ragnarok. I do like the female version, but
yeah,
it's Dire for me. That's my favorite season. I've always thought Dire was kind of cool. Never like super like into him, but I always thought he was kind of cool, and I like
right.
that he transformed. But it's my favorite season, so I have to go Dire.
This one is real close. But the tiebreaker for me, even though both of these cards are beautiful in person, the tiebreaker for me is Ragnarok aesthetically is just hits a little bit more. So I gotta go
It
Rag on
does
that one. Yeah,
that blue.
yeah,
The contrast
yeah.
for that one is really nice. I get what you mean by that.
Facts, JT. This, I mean, is and the thing is, like we said, all crystal shards are amazing, but it's just some of them, bro. Like they just, it's just a little bit extra, and Ragnarok is one of those.
Yeah, no, visually, I'm with you guys.
Yeah,
That blue is nice. It's a crazy
crazy.
look. Yeah, I don't know when the FNCS tickets go
Yeah, I
on
don't either.
sale. But I mean, last time we jumped on them to get early, and I feel like gosh,
And that was
I,
invitational, but that was invitational. I don't know
that was
what.
invitational.
Yeah, I don't know what global championship is going to be like. I'm because the arena looked obviously it was in an arena. It looked a little different compared to what we were at.
Mm-hmm.
But and it's in Dickie's arena this time. So I don't know how they're gonna do that. But for us, we technically didn't have to jump on it.
Yeah, but we'll let you know as soon as we know.
Yeah. Lynx versus Nogops. What you got?
Links,
Lynx?
links. Especially if this was in a 10.
Yeah.
Now
Oh, if it's in the 10.
I keep talking about like how like links is like it's a little muted on the background, and it is. It's like I don't know how else to explain it in person, but
Mhm.
still, I like Lynx, the character, the skin, way more. Not to taking anything away from Nogops. Nogops could be worth more in the future. I have no idea. I'm just more of a fan of Lynx myself. For
Yeah,
Lynx.
you know how I feel about season 7, and Lynx for that matter. So we both
Yeah.
on the same page with that. Lynx is hands down one of those ones. And on top of that, like Dylan said, when it comes to sending her in to get graded, it's not gonna be easy. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Look, I'm reading all the comments. A lot of people are saying Lynx. And Wisham said
yeah,
this chat is high. I mean, it really depends on what you like. And
yeah.
Lynx, I'm a huge fan of Lynx. Even though
Yeah.
Lynx is Series 2 and Knockouts is Series 1, Knockouts is gonna have some major fans. I'm not trying to take anything away from it, but Lynx for me.
But we also, just before we move on, we didn't finish. I forgot who
Yeah,
asked if Link's 11
it's
months. Yo,
11 months a year.
yeah, 11
Facts.
months a year. Yeah, no
That's
facts.
a good point. That's a good point.
That's a fact, because when Nagops hit that holiday season, man, it's over. But to tie somebody's question earlier, when I think it was Lane that asked about the pop report. I mean, not pop report, the print run on S1 and S2.
Mhm.
Uh, I know Nagops is a Series 1 Crystal Shard. Uh, Series 2 is not going to be. I don't think it's as far off from Series 1 print run as we think.
Yeah.
I would say max 50 to 100 separation. Like, I think it may be 50 or 100 more. And then who knows what it really looked like, but that's what it looks like right now. Right now, it looks like it's 20 to 30. Like, if you look at the highest graded, which is Skull Trooper, versus the highest graded, which is 0 for Series 2, and obviously that doesn't mean anything, but I don't think it's as far as off as people think.
So are you trying to get into like the gem rate? Is that what you're trying to get into? Because
Well,
like the
yeah,
gem
yeah,
rate for a
yeah,
Lynx is crazy, and a
yeah.
lot of Series 2 is crazy. Now I'm gonna throw this up here. This is I haven't updated this in I want to say 2 months maybe. I have to go back and
Mhm,
update this.
mhm,
But if you're looking at this, and here it says that there's a 31% gem rate for Series 1 cards, and here it
mhm,
says a 36%. But you have to take into account there's um about 3x amount of cards graded with Series 1. So
mhm.
this gem rate, of course, all the better gems are going to get gemmed first.
Yeah,
So as this approaches 20,000 like Series 1, this gem rate can go lower.
yeah,
And I think a lot of Series 2 cards have not been graded because they're just not gem worthy. And
yep,
that's why you see this 36 to this 31. A lot of
yeah,
Series 1 shards are almost always grade worthy.
yep,
Like, you
yep.
rip it and a lot of them are good, but Series 2 is not like that. Lots of edging, lots of stuff
Mhm.
like that. Same like Hush, a lot of the ones I have Rocks, for
Manic,
instance.
Manic is a
My
terror,
one of my
man.
favorite skins
Manic's
is
tough.
Rocks, and, like, you look at the top edge, and there's, like, lots of white,
Yeah,
so keep that in mind.
yeah. But it's definitely close. Well, it's not close for me. I like Lynx. I love Nagops, but Lynx is just in a different category for me. But yeah,
Ooh,
Yonder versus Yonder. This was some Series 1 versus Series 2 here. Yonder versus Chaos Agent. You want me to go first, or you going?
I already know my answer, so whatever if
Yeah.
you wanna go first, you can before I spill my beans.
I like Yonder a lot, and I also think that Yonder is fairly, and I'm not talking about card wise. I think he's fairly underrated in the aspect of how much he's promoted and marketed across the board. But Chaos Agent, he's in a different league for me. I'm definitely going Chaos Agent on this one. Now we're talking about pure card. If you're talking about value and stuff, obviously probably Yonder. But yeah, Chaos Agent for me.
Chaos Agent all the way, and if people are pricing Chaos Agent under Yonder, then I'm a buyer, to be honest. I
Hmm.
know I sold my Chaos Agent to Dill for, like, $100.
Hmm.
I regret it so much, but I needed the cash at the time. Um, but yeah, I like Chaos Agent a lot. Like I said, he's kinda connected with Midas in that chapter 2 and that nostalgia, man.
Yeah.
He was in that same time period, and I'm just a big fan of Chaos Agent, and I think DJ Yonder is a little bit forgettable to me. I'm not saying to other people, but to me,
Yeah.
and so Chaos Agent all day.
Yeah. But and to Yonder's point, I think that I think DJ Yonder to Yonder transition was seamless. Like, I really like that. Like the Yonder that's in series 2. I like that transition. He's the Islands DJ. So he does have that. I like that aspect of DJ Yonder, but Chaos Agent storyline wise, and honestly, just the skin
And
overall. He's
gameplay
he's just
wise and
he's one of the
skin play
best male
wise,
skins. So you know,
facts.
yeah, yeah, Chaos Agent for sure.
Hey, I mean, I'll go if you guys get a Chaos Agent 10, I'll go get me a
Oh, you going
freaking
Yonder?
forgot
You
of
going
DJ
Yonder?
Yonder.
You going Yonder 10 for Chaos Agent? 10?
I would trade it. I would trade
Yeah.
it for sure. I would
No,
trade
yeah.
if I had a DJ Yonder, I would trade it for a Chaos Agent. Me
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
So
It's in the what we're getting at. It's not as far off as people think when it comes to just comparisons in general when it comes to S1 and S2.
I mean, S2 is definitely still like the stepchild. People forget about it.
Yeah. Yo, we appreciate you, JO, for sure. We appreciate all of y'all. We've been here for a while. We've talked a lot on Fridays. We said a lot of things. And if you go all the way back, a lot of our opinions probably changed on some things as well. So you have some timestamps and some
Y'all
interesting
know my
topics to
opinions
go through.
changed.
Yeah. So we appreciate
We're
y'all,
learning
man.
as much as you guys, man. We're
Heck
in
yeah.
it. We're all in it
Yeah.
together, to be
Y'all
honest.
just hearing our thought processes every Friday. Like it's just like, yo, it just happens. Do you remember what you said at all when you get off? I don't remember anything.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't remember
I
anything.
I never I never remember anything, but I also don't think about it. I just come here to just tell you
Yeah.
guys what I'm thinking, to
Like
be
I'll get a
honest.
me I'll get a message and it'll be like, like, yeah, what you said at this, I'll be like, what the heck did I say?
No, so when we get off, we just keep talking more.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
our show could actually probably go longer because as soon as we get off, we stumble upon other ideas and we just start going back and forth like, "Dang, we should have recorded that."
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
it'd be
Happens
like
every
that though,
time. Happens
every
every
time.
time. Yo, that's great, Jo. We're really happy to hear that, man. We put a lot of
See,
time in the fact that it's valuable.
I already forgot about that sticker picker. I already forgot about that.
What?
He said, like, warfighter losing his guns in a
Oh
boating
yeah.
accident.
Hey, yo. No, that's still funny though.
Wait, he is the, Relax Fit Jonesy is the fat one, right? That looks like Thor?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
so.
that
Yeah.
is the one.
Yep.
I must have missed someone else's comment up before. Oh, yeah, he looks like Big Lebowski too.
Got you.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
They both look similar. I
Yeah.
think he looks closer to Thor though.
Yeah.
Like the fat Thor is that's pretty spot on.
Oh, that was from last week. But that was the last one. I thought I had one more. But yeah, that was an interesting one because that was a lot of series 1 versus series 2. And it was
Yeah, I
like,
like that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it kind of puts you on the spot with some of the series
It
2 ones.
does.
And I mean for me it was easy, but it's like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, that is true. That the Nogops one, everyone agreeing with me on the Nogops one, that surprised me.
Yeah, Lynx is interesting because Lynx is a
I'm
card
having
that,
FOMO. I'm having
yeah,
FOMO. I don't have a Lynx anymore.
bro. That was a card that
Don't
was heavy
don't give me
chase. Heavy
don't give me
chase.
FOMO.
You about to run into the FOMO already?
Yeah, I'm about to go look on eBay for a Lynx. See, this is the problem, and we're not trying to encourage you guys to go buy certain cards, but, like, I feel the same way after all these episodes, I've been wanting to go buy. So I went and bought Omega last time, and I hit crap. I
Bro,
keep hitting the same crap skins.
S2, bro, we need like an episode on S2 because it is criminally not undervalued, underrated. Underrated. It's criminally
Yeah,
underrated. I'll say
which
this.
is fine, like, I
Yeah,
want them to be in the $100 range for me to keep
yeah.
buying mega boxes. I like, the 170 range keeps me from not buying them, but when it gets, like, 120 and 100, I'm game to buy a mega box.
So you know how crazy Series 1 hollows is, like, the grading and the pop, the corners. Have y'all looked at Series 2 hollow pop report? it
I don't think I don't think
bro,
people grade hollows from Series 2 that much.
bro, look at that drink. It's crazy. And I'm not talking about like I'm talking about that. I feel like the
Oh, are we gonna talk about PSA?
no, I feel like the gap between Series 1 and Series 2, we know it's gonna close, but it's gonna be so irrelevant in 5 years. It's just gonna be the cards, bro, because that gap is insane, man. That gap is
Yo,
insane.
I'm glad that you're saying that because I've always been like, it's all about the skins, and a lot of people are like, no, it's about the first set. Series 1 is their first set, so it's gonna outsell
Yeah.
Series 2. But now that Panini is like not doing it anymore, they're kind of bunched together a little bit more. Now it's gonna be more about the skins, you're saying.
Yeah, and the thing is, the one thing I will say on the Series 2 side is it is somewhat top heavy compared to Series 1, and that's the only difference. Like, but
Wait.
other than
Shh.
that, yeah.
Shh. Shh.
Yeah.
Shiny, stop. That's where I buy mine from. Shh. Shh.
No,
He's blowing up
listen,
my spot. He's blowing up my spot. Don't do that.
I'm on
Don't do
Macari
that.
always. I
It
know
went up to
that
110. I think I got mine for 99 from him.
it was a couple at 90. Then it was like at that 110. I remember some was purchased at 130 and then it went to 110 again. But yeah, yeah,
I'm
Macari.
just joking. Share the love. Share the love. Yeah, that's where I got mine from. I was hoping to pull an order and I didn't. Do so there's a lot of conversation about PSA. I don't know if you wanna get
Mhm.
into it or not.
Oh, I don't
We
care.
only got we only got
If
10
people
minutes. I
if
had to be up
people
early for a cheer
yeah,
competition, so
if people my thing is now obviously people can grade with who they want to grade with. I think PSA is doing amazing things. Yeah, I know that I like PSA. I like sureness. And they're adding notes. Tag has been doing notes, but like I always say, they're gonna adapt. And that's what I like about a business. And they're also gonna do things on the marketing side. There's things that every company, but yeah, I like PSA. So yeah, I mean, people gonna grade who what they want to grade with. Every grading company has their things. But I like PSA and I like the things that they rolled out and the direction they're going, and they have a whole bunch of different slabs for a whole bunch of different cuts, which help us with having coral and having all these obscure size cards.
yeah, I'm not gonna like I like that what they do business wise. There's some stuff, of course, business wise I don't like that they do. So it's like a mixed bag for me. You guys know how I feel about PSA. CGC I still don't like. I like tag, and so PSA is releasing a new thing for like the
Greater
card
note.
details as grading notes, and like I get what is it gonna be like 1 to 2 sentences of why it got that grade.
No, it's gonna be it's gonna be if it's an indentation, it's gonna be all those type of things. Like Tag did it first, but the thing is, just like we've seen, I'll be honest, just like we've seen with Apple. I remember it was like a joke, like during the early Instagram days. It was like always memes, like if because Samsung was innovative, Samsung would have
Hmm.
these innovative things. They'll have the great camera, they have all these great things, and the meme at that time was like, oh well, we know what's gonna come in the next Apple update, and that's kind of what it feels like. Like I think there's great things that these companies can adapt and things like that. And I think if the bigger companies adapt them properly and stuff, that's gonna always be interesting. Whatever helps on that side. And yeah, man.
All right, so I like where this conversation is going. A couple things here. So the whole cards thing happened, and I know a lot of people feel differently. I'm okay with them like rejecting it because they found out and they're trying to protect the cards because you don't know what that solution is going to do over a long period of time.
One hundred
So I
percent.
get
Yeah.
I leave that up to the business to decide because they have to protect those cards. So I'm not gonna get into that. And I know JL's like thinking about not doing PSA for whatever reason, and I'm cool with that too. Do whatever you want to do. Um, for me, for AI, here's why I like Tag. I like Tag because they have all the technology to do this to grade it at that stuff, like AI and like the computers and everything. So you can get the same, hopefully the same grade every time, and you get the visuals. PSA is doing the grader notes, and I'd like to see what that looks like and like how detailed those are going to be. Like, because I know for Tag, I was crazy impressed, right,
Hmm.
Rob, when we looked at like the premiere, if you're an exclusive member, you
Yep.
saw like the whole tag report. So I'd be interested to see like how deep does PSA go, but I also don't think like that's enough because like there's already memes and jokes about like if you want a good grade, you send a wad of cash with your cards. So like people are joking, of course, right? But like the
Mm.
fact that humans do make errors and they miss it, and adding grader notes isn't gonna change those errors. Like they still are gonna miss things,
Yeah.
and that stuff is still gonna happen. But I still think it's as a good thing that they're doing. I'm interested to see how it turns out.
I'm
Um,
actually the opposite. I could care less in the instance of I like that they're adding grading notes. I don't mind the way it is right now. I mean, it is what it is. Because like the AI and all of that stuff is like I like the innovation. That's cool and everything. Um, I the extra stuff is cool, but humans are humans. I do want humans to grade my cards. Could care
See,
less if AI
I
is
just
grading
want
my
the
card. Like I really
I
don't.
I
Like
just want consistent good grading, and like I don't want like here's what I don't like, and maybe you guys are different, but like it's all right. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna resub this because I might get lucky and get a better grade. What is that? Like, we're gonna submit this card 3 times because it has a yellow background, it might keep doing better. Like, no, like, it either grades as good or it doesn't, right?
Mhm.
And that's why, like, in the human error, of course, there's gonna be a chance to bump up your grades, and maybe people like that. So I'm just not really a fan of that whole thing.
Yeah.
Can Oh, go ahead. You
No,
gonna
go
say
ahead. No,
something?
go ahead. No, I was just gonna
Can
say I was
tag
saying, yeah, to
detect
JT.
can tag detect Kurt's card? This is a great question, and I have no idea. I will say if I'm not trying to convince anybody to use tag, I use tag, right? But I also buy PSA cards already graded. But if I'm grading, I'm gonna grade with tag. Um,
Mhm,
Tag has only graded, I think, 100,000 cards so far. So I want to be completely transparent with you guys. Like PSA does like a million a month,
mhm.
and Tag has done 100,000 so far, which I think is still impressive with their new company. But just they're very, I mean, they're very small and they're still growing. So like, if you guys want to like Rob said, what did Rob say earlier? He said he likes a sure thing,
Yeah.
right? And so PSA is definitely that. They're trusted. They've been here
Mhm.
for a long time. Same thing with CGC. They've been in the game for a long time. So just know that when we're talking about Tag, can they detect Kurt's card care products? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Um, that's a good question. I'm gonna be on the lookout for that. I don't know how you would.
Yeah.
I
I
really
think
don't.
and I think where people got some things misconstrued is, PSA was saying if they detect it. If the thing we talked about it, the problem was the person posted that this happened with X, Y, and Z, and it was out in the open. If they can't detect it, they can't detect it. Is it, it just it is what it is. Now
Yeah,
they're not gonna champion it. That's pretty much what they're getting at. They're not gonna say they approve of it or anything like that. If you go through with that process and the person is soaking your card and you get away with it, and I'm saying get away with it, quote, based off of how it's perceived, then to each his own.
yeah. I feel like it's one of those things that's gonna weed itself out. I mean,
Yeah.
eventually someone's card is gonna fade.
Mm-hmm.
If it's possible, it's gonna fade and then it's gonna come out eventually. I would think. Um, I don't know what the solution is. I don't know if Kurt can come out and prove that it doesn't do it. Is there test to this? Is there science behind it?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know how much he put into that. I don't clean my cards, so
Yeah.
Um, it's definitely interesting. But
Yeah.
I don't think anybody could. I think the only way you could detect that
Yeah.
is like you'd have to do like a cotton swab and do some kind of test to see if there's
Mhm.
any kind of chemicals on there, and you can't
Yeah.
do that without damaging the card.
PSA was very clear. Like JL was talking about PSA right now, but PSA was very clear that if something was to happen to these cards, they do pay you back. They have an insurance policy that no other company has on the grading side. So if this card does end up fading or X, Y, and Z, guess what people gonna go on the internet and say? It's gonna be PSA fault, not Kurt Card's fault. But besides that, I will also say this, since we're doing this kind of PSA versus tag thing that seems to go on. What I will say is Tag is establishing themselves, but what we have seen is breaking and taking away market share from top parts of the hobby is always hard, especially as a business.
Yeah,
Um, and I hope that they
I
can stay, and I hope, and I
I
think they
don't
have
think
to.
I don't think Tag like I mean if Tag gets to PSA level, I would be astonished, right? Like I don't
Yeah,
think anything can get to PSA's level unless like something goes horribly wrong.
yeah,
I think Tag can take away stuff from CGC,
mm,
SGC, and all those other ones.
yeah,
So anyone who like all those ones are people who like pick something they like and they do that. And you've seen that. You've seen that with SGC, seen that with BGS. Like this is what they like to grade. But like I'm not when I say this, when I talk about Tag, I just want everyone to be clear. This is what
that's
I
all. I
like.
just want to make sure
Yeah,
people is being. That's all I'm saying because I get
be
the
clear. They've only graded
listen.
100,000 cards,
Yeah,
and I love them, and
yeah,
I'm gonna collect with them. But you guys, if you guys are investors and things like that, I'm not trying to take away from PSA. I'm
yeah.
not trying to convince you guys. But I will talk about Tag because I like them and I like what they do.
Yeah, because good
So
technologies have been seen before. And definitely not comparing. I'm definitely not comparing HGA and Tag. Tag is eons above HGA, but HGA had to shut down. They had to pivot, or their CEO stepped down. Let me be clear: their CEO stepped down, and they had to go in a different direction. This is not the for grading companies. This is not for the faint of heart. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna have for them to do what it's going to do to become a profitable standing business, like really take in their lane, they're going to have to find their thing. And what I mean by that is those vintage baseball graders, they're staying with SGC. They barely go to PSA, and they now that they know that nothing is going to be too much tampered with between SGC and PSA, they're going to stay with SGC. And then you have the One Piece and the Dragon Ball collectors. They like BGS because they want to chase that black label, right? What I'm saying is, when that market share is taken, where is it going to be taken from? And I think Tag has a great system. I'm just saying that everything can be exciting, and there's a honeymoon phase to everything. I can't wait to see Tag after they get some pushback on things, because every business is going to get the pushback. They're going to get the
Yeah.
pushback. They're going to get the response. That's when I'm going to be like, okay, they arrived. When the contrary is just contrary, and that it's not Tag the business, but it's just more so collectors being collectors. That's, I think they're still in the honeymoon phase, in my personal opinion. I do like Tag, but that's what I feel.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of ways you can put it, but I think that was a good summary,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Thank you.
So, yeah, that was a good summary. But like you said, not to compare to HGA, I hate HGA.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So when I talk about Tag, it's like I like their entire business, and that's why I started moving to Tag,
Mhm.
like all the way through. Like I don't think HGA hit everything that, especially the labels, they had the design off and so many different things. But like Jason's sticker picker was saying, is Tag Tag's only done 100,000 cards. If PSA really wanted to,
Right, yeah. Yeah. Collectors.
that's like half a month of revenue for them to buy them.
Yeah. And they said that this is coming out in June. And I think Tag is standing their ground, because I think they have great people as founders and CEOs. I think
Yeah.
they have I really think they're a great business. And I think they have a lot of potential. So I think, you know, PSA knew that they had to have something there in that aspect. But to this is one thing I did want to say on this. And then we got Dylan is in the lobby somewhere. So let's get off of here as soon as possible. But Warfighter, to this one point, I do want to say, how often are y'all getting upcharged? I'm This confuses me a little bit. How often are y'all getting upcharged? Because it is not as common as it seems that people are making it. Like, unless you're sending a card that's not supposed to be in that value slot, and you're
Well,
sending
I
it
mean,
anyway.
that's
That's
that's the same conversation though, is that like Tag, for instance, and let me use another one. I don't know what I only know Tag, right? So for Tag, like you send the card in for the value, and it's not like you have to pay
yeah,
more because it's more expensive.
yeah, but okay, this is the the thing is, it has it is I get people trying to slide things through there, but they have it there though. At least it's like this value for this is 500 and lower. If you send a card in there that you know is going to get a 10 and is going to be above 500, you're going to get upcharged. I get people don't like it, but don't subject yourself
Okay,
to being upcharged then.
all right. Here's my this is my last thing I'll say is like for established cards,
This
that's
is
great.
I don't know what card. I'm very confused on this, because I don't know
Okay,
what.
well, take this. They're
Yeah,
upcharging on Fortnite cards that were brand new and were fluctuating like crazy. Like, there's one sale and you wanna upcharge me? Like, my thing is you can't upcharge someone. What if they're never gonna sell it? Then you're
but
just
you talking,
profiting.
but you got hit one time, and that was the
No,
COVID one.
no, I hear
Yeah,
you, but
yeah,
here's the thing with that, which pissed me off even more, is, like, they had my cards for a year. I submitted this time, but then they're gonna upcharge me for a year later after I submitted it.
for
You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
That was, and I agree. That was weird, but the whole world was in a weird place. So I get that. But the thing is, them recovering and coming back to a proper business model and those things, if you want to hold that against them, I feel you. I understand it was your money, right? But the times that people are talking about upcharges, it's not happening as often as people. It's just not. Like, I'm sorry, it's no way. Unless you're, let's hypothetically send, if you send a Black Knight at value plus, that's on you. You're gonna get upcharged. I don't know what else to say, but it's the value is right there. So they're being truthful. Whether you like it or not is a different conversation.
My
But
my
it's
thing is they're valuing, so, like, they're doing a service, they're grading something, right?
mhm,
But their pricing structure is based on you selling something, and
mhm.
that's where it doesn't sit good with me.
So this is the thing. They and you could take their word for it or not, but they were very clear that this. So because they have the insurance policy, if you find out that a card is fake or anything like that, you technically have an insurance policy on your card with grading with PSA. So if Kurt Cards comes up 5 years from now and something changes, you get your money back based off of the value of that card, right? And that's baked all in there. It is. I mean,
I'd be
people can.
interested to see. I would be interested to see that customer service report, and they're like, "Where's the proof?"
But
So,
it
like,
and
if I no, listen. So, if
yeah,
I send them a card and I say it was used by Kurt's card and I bought it, I want a refund.
yeah, that's this
Are they going to give it to me?
they have to. Is it Yeah, they literally have to. And that's why they said they're not doing Kurt's cards, because they're like, yo, we
So,
don't
but
know
if I
what's
send
gonna
one in, are
happen.
they going to do that? I mean, I'm interested.
Yeah,
I don't know.
well,
I don't know if they will.
Chris Hodge from Card Ladder had a card that ended up being fake, and he got his insurance policy back. Also, and this was almost 8 years ago. This is a part of it. I mean, people can like it or hate it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, they can do what. I was just saying why I don't like it because, like, for me, when I grade a card, I'm asking them to grade it, and like, I don't intend to sell it, and they're assuming everyone's in it to sell it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that they're gonna recoup those prices, right? Like,
but
if you
that's
pull, let's say you pull a Wimby card, right, and then like you want to just keep it, and I get it. Everyone's gonna sell it. I get it,
yeah.
but if you just want it graded, you have to go with someone else. Otherwise, you're gonna charge $8,000. And let's say if you pulled it from one pack, right?
Mhm.
And you sent it in, you would have to sell it to recoup it. Like if a kid did that, where are you gonna get $8,000 to grade it?
They're gonna find the $8,000 to grade it. It
A
could,
kid
because it's
is a 12-year-old is.
but Dylan, that's not the way this market goes
I'm.
right now. A
I
kid is
get it. I get
because
it. They're
no,
assuming.
here's
They're
the but
assuming that
no,
everyone is selling
the
it.
product you're opening a Wimby one of one from, that's the thing. So this is not Fortnite cards that this is happening to. That's what I'm getting at. The product that people are opening this from, that's getting these $500,000 cards and stuff like that, it's more than not, it is a higher level product. So it's that's the thing. It's just
What product did the
these.
Wimby one of one come out of?
We can look it up. I don't know the stuff like that, but we can look it up and see what that was. But look at what happened, and just look at the cases and scenarios that this, for instance, let's go with this one. What happened with the what is his name? Richard, if you're in here, that just got traded from the Patriots. His name is slipping my mind. Mac Jones. Mac Jones card gets pulled and it sells for ridiculous money, right? This is a quarterback for the Patriots. It was a father and his son. They opened the product. They got that product graded. Don't know if they got upcharged or not, but it immediately went to auction. It just this is those cards is this is the place that the hobby is in. I'm not saying that it's right or anything like that. I'm just saying business is business. Respect the hustle, because that's what it is. It's a
I
hustle.
I get
And
I
it
get
is.
it, but I'm just saying that PSA is operating not for collectors, they're operating for sellers. And
Mhm.
then they're capitalizing on it. That's all. And I just don't like that. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I'm not
No,
saying
yeah,
it's
I get
wrong. I'm not saying it's bad
no.
business. It's just
Oh,
like
let me preface
like
this. Let
I'd
me
be pissed.
Yeah.
Like I'd be pissed if I pulled an or one of one and I couldn't get graded with the company I wanted because they were gonna charge me $8,000.
But why you want to get graded with them?
Like if of course everyone wants to grade with like the company that's like the most like like whatever the social norm is, right? But like if you were someone who couldn't afford that and you pull the card and you wanted it graded to be in a slab, because we've said before that the card doesn't feel like it's ours unless it's in a slab,
They
doesn't feel like
keeping
it's in
it.
a collection.
Just
It
go
doesn't feel
with.
like it's a collection, it's a slab. And I'm just saying you wouldn't be able to grade it and keep it protected because it's gonna cost you 8 grand.
Maybe not, but if that's the card you like, go with SGC, BGS,
Yeah,
Tag,
you would have to. I'm
legit.
just and
Yeah,
that's what I do. That's what I do. I'm
yeah.
just saying
I
I think
mean,
that's I just think
there-
that's pretty crazy.
it's a. I mean, it's a. Shane, I'm just that's a Shane. I'm not gonna lie. That's all. This is. Let me preference this. I don't care. I'm being. I grade PSA. That's it. That is what it is. I just think it's weird sometimes when people keep bringing up upcharging, and barely anybody that's saying that is really getting upcharged besides that one scenario during the pandemic. And then outside of that, it's not happening as frequent as people are making it. And then you're talking about, if we're just keeping it real, like it's like those cars that's getting 8,000, they're going to one place, and that's to auction. Is Golden, PWCC, Heritage, and that's 9 times out of 10. And It literally is, because that's where the hobby is, unfortunately, right now. It's not that many collectors at that top scale, because most collect, like, if you're a Spurs fan and you want Wemby, it's just rough out here. You're more than likely not pulling that card. Like, if you're just a casual Wemby fan, you might not have that opportunity, not because of PSA, because of the product. And it's just because of the opportunity at hand. Now it's just different, bro. That's a $500,000 card, and it got treated that way.
If I pull Black Knight, I'm grading it with tag. If I pull Black Knight Shard,
Yes.
100% I'm grading it with tag. But I'm gonna be the only one. Like no one
Yeah.
else. Like I said, there's only 100,000
No,
people.
no, no,
But
no, no. It's not gonna be, you're not gonna be the only one. It's a lot of people that's gonna start grading with tag.
I mean, I doubt many people are gonna be doing Fortnite. I
I don't
think
know,
it's
bro.
gonna
People don't
start.
rock with PSA.
A lot don't. I think it's gonna start, baseball. I think is what they're doing the most with, which
Mm.
is like kind of like dying. But I don't know. Rob, what process is different when grading a $500,000 card and grading a $50 card?
You tell me. So put it this way: if you have, see, Warfighter. This is the thing. I'm trying to say this in a, without knocking people, but these people are all playing the game. So that product. So when you send it in, if you send in a 500,000 and a $50 card, it's the value you send it in. More than likely, if you grade in a card that has the potential to be $500,000, because even these, let's be real, Fanatics put out a, was it Fanatics that put out a bounty for the cards that was in their product? I believe that
So
was the case. Yeah.
here, I have a question for you. Okay,
Hmm.
and I know I know we're all talking to Rob like he's PSA right now. So let's pull it back
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
But But think about this, right? So like the eight, let's talk about the Wimby card. That so the 8,000. That's basically you're saying because it's such an expensive card to protect PSA, we have to charge you $8,000.
No, I'm not saying that. What
Oh,
I'm
so we're
what I,
saying because you're gonna profit so much, we're gonna charge you 8 grand. Is that
no,
what they're doing?
because, so what, watch this. What happened? So two Wimby cards went up, right? What happened with one of the Wimby cards? Supposedly Kurt Care's car product was on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say PSA didn't find that out. For this is speculation, but let's say PSA didn't find that out, right? And that happens. I know people are saying, I don't wonder if they're going to get their money or not. They're worried that they're held accountable for that. So if that's the case, and that Wimby card sells for $500,000, they're paying the insurance on a $500,000 card, not the card that they sent in to be graded. So they're the only. I'm trying to be clear that they're the only one that has an insurance policy. You're not getting that from any other company. If you have, if it's just not happening, and that,
Wait,
yeah,
say that again.
the insurance policy,
They'll pay out $500,000.
they're pay out what the market is, what that card is for. Yes, they're paying out on that. That's literally their policy. And that's, I mean, you can take it or leave it. I'm not telling you to. I'm not telling anybody to. I'm just saying what you're protected with. That's all I'm saying.
So you're saying that they'll pay out $500,000.
Whatever that card is for, that's why, literally, this is, I mean, you can look, it's on PSA website. You can watch the interview. It's literally been said.
Okay, so you said so that's a grading mistake and their fault.
That's
I
a
mean,
grading, that's a
so
grading,
let's say
but
you pay eight.
that's what they're saying though. That's what they're saying. They're saying it's a grading mistake and their fault. So you're gonna get paid back the value of the card. I I'm confused on that.
So I mean, if they mark it as an insurance thing, I can but my thing is like how you price that. So what do they put up the 8,000? Like how do they calculate that for the
I'm
$500,000 card for a card that's never been?
I'm not sure. I have no idea. All I did, that's that JT. That's like, that's all I'm saying. It's because it's in the same breath, people will complain about PSA, and then they'll grade with PSA, or they'll show PSA cards. If I don't rock with a company, I don't rock with a company. I could care less. It's just that, if it's that simple. If I don't like the company, I'm not going to use them. All I'm saying is the possibility is, it's effortless of how many angles you can look at things with. But yeah,
JL sending me to sleep.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people can complain all they want. We're just talking about the different new stuff that they're doing. So
I know you don't War Fighter.
I mean, I recent pickups, guys, is
Yeah,
late.
no,
It's
it's
12:15.
2:16. Yeah,
We're going to do
we'll
that.
do it next
We'll have
week.
to do that next week when I have 2 monitors. I don't have 2 monitors right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, great with guys what you want. We were just updating and talking about it as we always do.
Yeah.
I'll be interested. Y'all know I still buy PSA slabs off eBay.
And still
So
great with them.
me,
Yeah.
I haven't yet. I haven't graded since. I really like grading with tag.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'll ever grade with PSA again
Me either. I don't know.
because I'd have to get a whole new membership. That was a whole nother thing. I was even thinking, don't you have the membership to grade with them?
Mm-mm. That's for the lower grade. That's for like bulk and things like that. You can start at 24.
You pay $24 to send it without being part of the.
Hmm.
Okay, see, I can't remember since the last time I looked. Um, yeah, I don't know that I will grade with them again.
Wait, I thought it was
But
tag. Why are you saying CGC, JO? Wasn't C- wasn't JO going to tag?
no, he was always going to CGC. I brought up tag for me. It's because he said maybe even tag, and I was just telling him that they've only done 100,000, so CGC is a little bit more established. Because he
Mm.
wants to get away from PSA completely. Um,
I didn't even know he
Me, I'm
graded
just
the
talking about with
card.
who I like personally grade with. Like I'll buy cards, even if I saw an Aura and like a CGC one. I don't even fuck with CGC like that, and it was at a price that I liked. I might even be interested. I'm more interested in the card. So
Where's our mod? Sleep because it's we had 2 hours and 17 minutes. Have
PSA is gonna buy the market. All right, y'all. I gotta get to sleep.
a good one, y'all.
Shout out to PSA and Tag. I'll catch you guys next and CGC. I'll catch you guys next time.